you know, that's him 100%. I mean, without me hearing his voice, I'm like, you know, it's unconfirmed. But if you got friends that knew him and grew up with him saying it's confirmed, then I gotta say, hey, yeah, this is probably bryankohberger. But, you know, I did send it into the FBI. I did clip that. I also went through 80,000 phone calls, found the number, sent it into the FBI as well, and they have that, and hopefully they get down to that information.
Good. Do you know that they are in receipt of it? Did they come back to you at all?
I know they have it. I never got an email back yet.
Voila! What is going on, baby? Shout out to y'all, man. When it is 1/4/2024. Welcome to the new year. Last time I seen you was on the New Year's stream. Shout out to everybody in the building. I do want to say what's up to you guys before we dive into some things today. Let's go though. Let me know if you can hear this. What are we doing? What are we doing? We're tripping. Let me fix that. What's going on, Camellia? Midwest in the building. I see Missy. Sosa's over here headbutting me right now. All right, here it is. Shout out to all y'all in here. 2024, what's going on? Miss Go Lightly in the building. Rev Rebel, what's going on? Shout out to the Cowboys family. What's going on? Heaven Lee, welcome. Cassie, Sky Blue. What's going on, Sky Blue? Nice to see you. Georgianne, Diane. Secret tunnels, huh? We'll get into the secret tunnel talk. I mean, it was believed that a door was seen, right? That's what it was believed. There was a door seen. They were live on the scene. The house directly behind 1122 has a manhole cover in the front yard on Google Earth. I've never seen that before, but never really looked for manhole covers until now. Someone should creep into it. Well, first, I got the Faro scan video coming, so we'll get to that. Monarch says, hello, everyone. How are y'all doing? Happy New Year. How are you? Nice to see you, by the way, Monarch. Devil Doll, Trev, whoop, whoop. Happy New Year to you and your fam, and also to the Trap Gang fam. Can see 2024 being your year, Trap. Thank you for the positivity, Devil Doll. Thank you. By the way, I just want to give us, again, a special thank you to Glitter. Now, Glitter B made this for me. She sent it. It's pretty cool, right? I think it's cool. So I had to watch out, Sosa. Move, buddy. Come here. I give you a treat. Come over here. I had to staple it up on the wall so it would stick up there. I wanted it to be perfectly right there, visible, you know? Zonia Pride. It's nice to see you. Hold on, so I want to dive into a couple things with, you know, a topic, just because last time that we talked about the case, we were talking about the house being torn down, right? There's Glitter right there. It's nice to see you, Glitter. Thank you, by the way. You see on the back, I told you I'd put it up. What's going on? Uncle Slick in the building. What's going on, Uncle Slick? Terry Papp, it's so nice to see you. Happy New Year to you. Hey, Trev, glad to see you. I'm stuck home with COVID. Oh, my God. See, the thing with COVID is once you get COVID, I feel like you have long-term COVID for some people anyways. Ever since I've caught COVID multiple times, I just feel sick constantly. I don't know, either sinus or it could be anything. I don't know. I feel like you're more prone to it after that, or just sicknesses in general. Amanda, what's going on? Hi, T-REV. Newer to this channel, loving your channel. Thank you for coming by, Amanda. I appreciate you. Hit that like button. That's all we ask. It's free 99, baby. And before we get started, let's start off with gifting 5 real quick, right? I'm just gonna give away 5 off the rip. Let's give away 5 off the rip. 5 off the rip without letting you know. Now turn on your gifting if you want gifting, because I'll probably do maybe 5 to 20 more this stream. So Dana, what's going on? Welcome. Gold Dust Woman, how you doing? What's boss? I was looking at Twitter and seen your comment on there. I need to share the stream to Twitter real quick before we get locked in and I open up phone lines and we watch a few different clips that I have right here. Now, as far as the Faro scan video, I should have the Faro scan video out, like the actual visualer and full video within the next, I want to say today's what, Thursday? Maybe Saturday. Maybe Saturday. I don't want to give a date yet because I've been working hard on it. I was deep diving tons of information revolving the Faro scans that they're going to use during the Idaho trials. Now, deep diving this information has actually gave me a little bit of peace of mind, because just for the simple fact that I don't know. I don't want to give it away. I don't want to give it away. I'm looking at this script right in front of me right now. There's just tons of different things that I've been able to uncover, and I want to do a whole entire live stream around it when I drop this video. So I'm going to save that part, but I was able to find other cases that use Faro scanning and seeing what the Faro scanning is about. And it's really good. Heart 2125 secret tunnel. Seriously, I don't know. That's what they're saying. I haven't seen it yet, though. If you see it, show me. I'm just looking for it. I'm looking for the secret tunnels. I haven't been able to find them. I haven't. Not one bit. Yeah, I've been looking for secret tunnels for a long time, but let's jump back on it.
So I've spent a lot of time at 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho, reporting.
Now listen to what's said. Now it was a gut punch. What's going on, DJ G Master in the building? I'm gonna call you Kaba because the name is long and I don't want to butcher it. But what's going on, Kaba? You said we lost you for a few days. Thank God you are here, T-REV. Nah, you just spending time with family. You know, when people have off work and people have off work during the new year, people are working constantly. I get it. So you know, you got to spend time with your folks when they're off work. Brittany says that house behind 1122. Can you send me a picture of that? Do you have a picture of it? Send it to me.
On the brutal stabbing murders of 4 University of Idaho.
Send it to me. I'd love to see it.
Back in October
I'd love
2022, you're looking at that house being demolished. That was last Thursday.
I mean,
they took the whole house down. The school had been given the home and then chose to destroy it, and that decision has set off a lot of emotions, especially since the trial for accused killer Bryankohberger has been delayed. The school says the prosecution, the defense, and the FBI had access to the home before it was leveled and felt, despite the objections of some victims' families, that taking it down would help the school's community heal. And I can report exclusively tonight, this is new, that after it was torn down, the remaining pieces of the home were taken to a solid processing facility, and that it was all.
So there was people that just trying to like. Well, no, they didn't say that. They said that there was police with or following the debris because they didn't want crazed people to go and take parts of the house. Like what? That's wild. What are you going to do with parts of the house?
Buried several feet down beneath the earth. There was concern that people would try to take souvenirs.
What's going on, Lauren?
So the parts of the house after it was demolished were taken away and buried beneath the ground. How do victims' families feel now that the house has been taken down? I want to bring in Shannon Gray. He's the attorney for the families of 3 of the 4 victims, Kaylee Gonzalez, Maddie Mogan, and Xander Kernodle. Shannon, thank you for being with us tonight. I know you put out a statement the day before the demolition, a strongly worded statement, essentially begging the prosecution and the university not to.
We're going to go back and listen to this 1 second. I do want to read this comment, though, and talk about that for 1 second. I got a note says the tunnels are heat structures and sewage. What? You said in sewage, not like secret tunnels. Yeah, but where do they run at? Because people are like, literally, I swear, a few people hit me up with emails. This is the door. I don't see a fucking door. What door are you talking about? Like, all I see, this is the door. And when I looked at the picture, all I see is debris. I don't see a door. They even circled it. I'm like, that's not a door. That's debris. You're making it a door with your eyes. It's crazy. Like, I don't know. This had me wild.
I know you put out a statement the day before the demolition, a strongly worded statement, essentially begging the prosecution and the university not to tear the house down. And I'm just wondering now, do you feel like the relationship between the families and the prosecution is damaged at this point?
Suki, good, happy.
Well, I don't know if we've ever had a really good relationship with the prosecution. In this case, you know, I've always talked about how the line of communication between the district attorney's office or the Latah County prosecutor's office and the victim's family, especially the Gonzalez family, has always been pretty poor. And so I don't know if it changed in any way. You know, seeing the house come down was a gut punch.
Seeing the house come down for the families were a gut punch. That's crazy. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm gonna stand on what I said. The Idaho, the college is like, they don't give a fuck. Excuse my language, but I'm just gonna say it. You had two families that definitely didn't want the house down vocally. They were open about it vocally. One that was cool with it, and I can't speak for Ben. You know what I mean? I can't speak for Ben, but they were all against it, besides one family.
Realize that I would react to it so strongly, but watching it was hard. And, you know, when I spoke with Steve and Christy, it was a long day seeing that. So very emotional for Steve and Christy seeing that house come down.
Thank you, D. Marie. Welcome to the Rev Gang family. I appreciate you. Nip it.
Yeah, and I think the feeling about watching come down would be different, obviously, after a trial. I mean, there's just so much that's unresolved.
What's going
still.
on? Don't die.
I spoke with Steve and Christy at the end of last year, about 1 year after the murders, and we spoke about this. I want to play a little bit of what they said.
Destroying the house, demo the house. That's something where I think the family should have been brought in and said, what is your guys' take on it? Because we all want to be one united front. You can't tell me with the house being gone that you can give somebody the view of somebody parking right there, which is, you know, 200 feet away. You want to look in that window and say, oh, I can totally see somebody walking through there right now. Mm-hmm. I can see it's a red shirt that they got on. Mm-hmm. They got a bandana on. Those little details of where, oh, that's why he sat there for half an hour and then drove off.
Is this good for the prosecution? Is this good for the case? You know, and I like I said, we don't know any of this stuff, but, you know, reading, and they talk about how jury members walk through crime scenes and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is crazy. When that house goes, it's going to be hard. I don't want to go in it. I've never even been to the house. I've never drove by it. I don't want to, but it's still going to be, when they're like, that house is gone, it is going to be very emotional for me.
See that? And that's one of the clips that I was talking about with Christy the whole entire time. I remember her saying that specifically. And I remember her saying it was like, a piece of me will go when that house goes, she also says. Which I don't know. That's just hard to hear.
Yeah, and Steve made a good point, Shannon, about, I mean, even if the inside was damaged, you know, just walking around the outside could have been helpful for the jury if they wanted to do that. I want to ask you, though, about a trial date. The prosecution filed a motion saying they want summer of 2024. There's no trial date right now, which I know is upsetting. I mean, do you have anything new on that?
Well, it looks like, you know, there's a hearing that's scheduled for the judge to reconsider some of the motions that he's already decided. And in that motion and the judge's order for scheduling, I think it's January 26th is the next hearing date. Part of that hearing in the morning will be closed to the public. In the afternoon, though, there'll be an open hearing at 1 o'clock. And it says in his order that that's after that hearing that they'll be setting a time and date for trial and a scheduling order on the case. So we're hopeful that that happens at that time.
Hey, thank you for watching.
Yeah, what you guys are heading to friggin', you're going into the summer. They're gonna set it for this summer. Now, June, July, or August, we don't know. but we know that they're aiming for the summer. So let me read some comments here. What are we talking about? He said these parents are the only one who care about this house. We had Cara that spoke out, right? You had Cara that spoke out. You had Steve who spoke out. Also, you've heard Christy right there speaking out. Now, again, I cannot speak for Ben, but we do know that the Chapin family was on board with it. And now it's gone. So we have to move on from the house being torn down because there's no going back. It's gone now. We have to look at the FARO scanning and get used to that because that's what we're going to be looking at during the trial. What's going on, Worthington? Welcome. Hey, Rev fam. Glad I caught y'all live today. I'm glad you caught us live too, RM. It's nice to see you, by the way. Donna in the building. Happy New Year, T-REV and Rev Gang fam. Shout out to everybody that is just coming by. If you were just coming by, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. Turn on the notification bell and hit all if you are missing live streams. Now, I haven't went live since, what, New Year night? But, yeah, that's there. What's going on, Arlene? Welcome. Arlene is in the building. It's nice to see you, Arlene. See, Baby Blues 3202 says, I hope the trial happens this summer, but I have a feeling it won't be until next summer. So you think in 2025? I don't know. They're already talking about this scheduling. So we're going to see how that plays out. We're going to see how the scheduling plays out. We're going to go based off the scheduling and see how that. Hold on. Let me get off of this one and go to here. This is another one, a good one that I wanted to see with you guys. Let me pull it up 1 second. Said I've been so to hold up. Actually, let me pull this up. You know what? Let me pull this up. We're gonna skip that. Change a tune real quick. Because I know people still want to talk. So if you want to call in 219-885-9693, I actually do want to hear your thoughts on everything right now. I'm gonna open up the phone lines first. Hey T, feeling better finally. Yeah, I feel fine. I feel good, Jenny Jen. I feel good. T-REV, I am gonna call you one day and have a one-on-one convo. Go ahead, call now. 219-885-9693. Let's hear from you. Unknown, let's hear from you. Come on, get them unknown calls rolling. Isn't there a hearing 126 though? Lucia, I'd have to go and take a peek at that. 126? Nah, not that. Now you got me thinking. Hell no. 126? 1 second. Let's go and pull this up. 126. No, it ain't 126, is it? Okay, I see you. Unknown. Unknown. Yeah, right. Unbelievable that people would take parts of that house. Lurkers. Yeah, right.
Community is healing. Community is how we carry on together.
It was a crime that rocked a small college town and captured the attention of the world.
It's horrible. Yeah, people still pick flowers out of the yard of the house where Dahmer grew up. That is some of the weirdest shit. Are you kidding me? Where does this tunnel go and what is it? What's in it? Yeah, I'll tell you right here. Let's pull it up. Moscow, Idaho tunnels, right? Debunking steam tunnel. Here's one right here. Debunking steam tunnel video. Oh, here's one right here. This video right here. The underneath the university, right? That was a video that came out. So there's an actual thread on it. I spotted a dodgy video about Moscow steam tunnels earlier, and though I doubt many here believe the rumors about the tunnels connected to the house. Being a nerd about all things buried, services, sewers, tunnels, etc., I thought I'd had it off at the pass in case. This must be somebody from a different country, the way that they're talking. Theory somehow gets legs. Summary. Okay. A recent YouTube true crime video claims with map evidence that underground University of Idaho U of I steam tunnels big enough to walk inside ran immediately next and possibly connected directly to the basement of the incident house. 1122 King Road, Moscow. Basic further research reveals that the map shown in the video is instead a city map of storm drains where they're not the same as steam tunnels, and that the university itself had published a recent map of utility tunnels, which among other things carried steam services, and none of which go anywhere near 1122 King Road. The video is incorrectly claiming that the storm drains are actually steam tunnels. So there are steam tunnels, but none of them go anywhere near the incident house. Okay, I see what's going on there. Taylor Way has a tunnel. The King Road is just sewers. So, but I mean, let's just get to the meat and potatoes of it. Yes, January 26, 2024. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this tunnel. People are claiming that there was a tunnel that ran under the house, that somebody came under that bad boy and came up out of and went in there and did what they did. That's what's being insinuated. Let's be realistic here. So we're saying that somebody either created a man-made tunnel to go under this house or sought out and found out that there was an underground tunnel and came up and there's some type of door that's under the 1122 King Road residence. I'd say bullshit, prove it. And people that have sent me like these different pictures and videos and stuff of what I'm looking at is damn sure ain't no underground tunnel friggin' door. Which is it's crazy. He said, if what? Oh man, LS said, if TNT is saying there's no thanks. I don't know who's saying it. I just know that I get the emails. I get the emails about it. And look, this creator is right here. This is the underground. Like I get it all. You said, can do StreamYard? It's not letting me use the phone number, mods. Oh, you said it's not letting it's not letting you call in. Well, first of all, my bad, because the phone was on do not disturb. So now if you are trying to call, you should be able to get through. But I wanted to read this too, though, because the video begins with the footage lifted. No, let's skip through that. I want to see the part where the map in the video, because so now this is through this is the storm sewer right here on the screen, right? I'm looking at it right now. This is the actual link to the storm sewer. And the fact that people even have to go and pull this shit up because thousands of people say that there was a tunnel is crazy. Hold up, here's another one right here. Board of Idaho Management PDF meeting. Look at this right here. Motion to approve. Let's see. Subject. Oh, it's got a bunch of different documents. I'm going to save those. Let me pull it over to this screen. You said if you Google if there are tunnels in Idaho, but that doesn't prove that it goes to that house. You said T-REV 126 is promotion to reconsider because of grand jury prosecutors' misconduct and exculpatory evidence and lack of sufficient evidence. So 126. So this month, 126, but we know all of this. No tunnel to that house.
Crime has affected all of us.
4 University of Idaho students murdered in a house near campus.
No way.
But these girls were absolutely beautiful. They've been friends since 6th grade. It's a shame.
What's going on, Eastman girl?
Some feared the murders of Maddie Mogan, Kaylee Gonsalves, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle would never be solved. Who would want to hurt these 4 students sleeping in their house? The answer, police would later say, was this man.
This is State of Idaho versus bryankohberger.
My thing is, though, is what you talking about 126 exculpatory. You said exculpatory evidence and lack of sufficient evidence. What? Right? I can't wait till that comes up, actually.
Bryankohberger, a PhD student in criminology who lived 10 miles away. But why? That's just one of so many questions that remain more than 1 year later as we remember the 4 Idaho students taken too soon.
What's going on, Jeff? Hey, T-REV, I just emailed you a picture where I overlaid 2 images from the demolition. One, you said one being the people think it's what I think is a door to the tunnel, and I align the images with the all right, I'm pulling it up. Hold on 1 second. I'll grab it and pull it up right here. BSN. Boom. Okay, so I see what you're talking about. Is this video? I see a video. I'm gonna pull it up. Tunnel or no tunnel? Here we go. Let's pull it up. Tunnel or no tunnel? Right here we go. Right here. Tunnel or no tunnel? Tunnel or no tunnel? Yeah, that's the same circled one. Hold on, that looks like the same circle picture I got. Is this a tunnel, ladies and gentlemen? Hold on, let's jump on. Let me big screen that bad boy. I'm glad you did that because that's actually, I want to say that's the picture I got in email, Jeff. I firmly believe the roommates are aware of why this happened, exactly who did it, and I believe they did some type of cleanup or disposal of evidence. There's a reason why they didn't call, Sasha says, allegedly. I'll throw in allegedly for you, Sasha. Jenny Jen says that was the weirdest looking house from the outside. Weird layout. Let me go down the chat and catch up here. Let's see what do you think about this right here? This is insulting our intelligence. Total bullshit, right? They're saying that that's a door right there. There's clearly nothing after though when you look at it right here. I love the backup shot too. Zonia, thank you. I appreciate the love to the channel. Thank you for being so generous. I do appreciate that. Dwayne Smith said that's a water heater. That's a water heater. That looks like a door. You said it looks like a door and a very old door at that. Angela Hall says. No, I'm gonna pause it on this right here. Let me pause it right here. Okay. I'm gonna have to either go in my email, find it again, dig into the emails and find it, pull the picture out, but this is good enough right here looking at it. That's a door. This is the underground tunnel, ladies and gentlemen. The door to the door to the heaven. I'm surprised. You said I'm surprised you're not covering that. I was actually checking that out because Leisure was telling me some stuff about it. So I was peeking at it. I seen that they made an arrest on the father and son. Correct? It's nice to see you too. You smell jealous. It's a mini fridge, KK Gon says. It's a mini fridge. It's a damn mini fridge right there. You said there was a door with a lock on it in the unoccupied room. Yeah, but wasn't that a door with a lock on it in Brian's unoccupied apartment room? Correct, right? It's a time machine. I'm surprised everyone is buying the roommate bull. The reason why I buy the roommate bull, if that's what you want to call it, right? The reason why I buy it is because we are now past a year. And if they had any ties with Kohberger, that would have been discovered pretty early on, actually, if there was some ties. But do things slip by? I guess we'll find out. What's going on, Just Joe? Appreciate you sending that, Jeff. We'll check that out. Good. Let's jump back. I'm not saying it's a tunnel, but there was a doorway.
I'm Anjanette Levy. Thank you for joining us as we remember the 4 University of Idaho students senselessly murdered in Moscow, Idaho, more than a year ago. It's been 1 year since police.
And then now, after tearing the house down, they want to put the memorial and everything. What? Here at the University of Idaho? I don't know. I wouldn't want mine there if I was ignored. I'll tell you that much. Only Tammy says it probably was an access door to underneath the home that plumbers and other workers could get to if need be. What did I miss? We just actually Jeff sent me a video, and that video was there was a picture that he overlaid that was one that was actually sent to me to talk about this door, right? And then he showed, I don't know, I thought it was a good breakdown because it shows to me that There's nothing there. There's no underground tunnels. There's no nothing under that house. Where's it at? Because I'm not seeing it. Everyone who believes the tunnel mess, do they think the tunnel existed before the construction of the house, like from back in the 50s? Well, I got the PDFs to the storm tunnels, etc. now. Yeah, I could play it again. I got you, Just Joe. 1 second. Let me pull it up. All right. Nah, that's not it. Let's get out of that and pull this one up. Tunnel or no tunnel. Do you believe that's a tunnel? Here you go. I'll full screen it for you. Do you believe that's a tunnel? Damn. We getting it popping in there. Okay. You said the Soto case is wild. They use the phone data and cameras to solve. I'm thinking they have to have a lot of evidence in the case from Kohberger, or I have a lot of evidence in this case on Kohberger from phones, cameras, and in his car, and in my opinion. Also, you got to remember shit that, like, he left his computer behind or whatever, right? Because remember when they went on the search warrant at Bryan Kohberger's apartment in Washington? Elizabeth says it could have been a bomb shelter. All right. So I'm seeing that people are calling, but it's not working. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I need to refresh it, sign out, sign back in, because I actually see that a few of you were calling and none of them are coming through whatsoever. So let me see if I can fix it. Let me go to settings. No, what is it? What is doing that? Okay. That's weird. It literally just showed. There's people calling, but the phone's not ringing. That's weird. It had like 3 computers left. It had like 3 computers left. You and your 9 profiles. Who we talking about? Oh, okay. I said, what is true? She must be talking to somebody in chat. A fucking utility closet door.
Oh my God.
It's clearly a different view in the same spot on both pics. Which clearly to me, I don't see a damn door. Period. I have no sound. No sound. We got 0 sound in here. All right, hold up. We'll get back to it. Let's get back to the sound, ladies and gentlemen.
Police made an arrest in the case. Maddie Mogan, Kelly Gonsalves, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle had their entire lives ahead of them. But on November 13th, 2022, their lives were taken. Police say by this man, Bryan Kohberger, a criminology PhD student who lived 10 miles away across the Washington state line in Pullman. As we look back a year later, we want to remember the 4 victims by telling you who they were, what we know about the investigation, the evidence, and what lies ahead.
No matter where you find yourself tonight, the Vandal family is here. And on this day, across all of Idaho, we are all Vandals.
I haven't seen this, by the way.
Students, fellow classmates of Maddie Mogan, Kaylee Gonsalves, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle came together on a lawn at the school
Tammy
in Moscow this past
What's going on, Tammy number 2? Welcome.
November 13th to remember their friends 1 year later.
Maddie was a bright person. She had a bright smile. She had a bright,
and that's why we're talking about it, Jenny Jen. It makes me laugh too, just like it makes you laugh. It makes me laugh because it's to be honest with you, it's fucking ridiculous, right? It's ridiculous. It's crazy. It's just, and then for people with platforms to scream out and spread it like a wildfire, why can't I go? I'm just doing my thing. I'm going live and laughing about it. I'm laughing about the tunnel shit in their face because you can't show me a tunnel under this house. And you're not going to have me spew it out to thousands of people that there was either without proof. If I could see proof that there was some underground action and there's a tunnel there and you could show me a video of you coming out of 1122 from this fucking tunnel, then I'll believe you. You know what I mean?
Bright future. Maddie was bright. She was bright in every way that a person could be. Maddie was the kind of person that made sure everyone felt welcomed and cared for. It was nearly impossible to not be smiling when you were around her.
I am reminded every day to live like Kaylee would. Be more spontaneous, stop and take pictures, be loud, laugh loud, and love hard.
It's sad to watch.
May we all work hard to be more like Kaylee.
The students also want to try to start the difficult process of healing as they grieve the loss of their friends.
A beautiful aura followed her everywhere she went. There was always a smile on her face. She was a very contagious person. Xana was one of those people that you could not possibly be sad around. She made friends feel unapologetic for being themselves.
He so effortlessly put anyone and everyone around him in a good mood. These traits are something.
I'm glad that they highlighted good things that other people remembered about the victims. I
like to obtain every single day.
A little more than a year ago, on November 12th, 2022, everything seemed normal in Moscow, Idaho. The leaves were changing colors. It was nearly a perfect warm fall day. Students Maddie Mogen, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin posed for a photo with two roommates before the big football game.
Back to the formation. Vandals return to the Big Sky.
And that's his first rushing touchdown of the season.
Later that night, Xana and Ethan went to a party at his fraternity, Sigma Chi. Just a few.
Okay. And I know the timeline is always screwed up with people. And it is with me sometimes too. That's why you have to go back to your notes as far as like what time everybody got home. And I still think that it's going to be all over the place until trial, the timeline with everybody. Right? The timeline that was put out from the beginning, except I think things are going to change in that courtroom during trial.
2 blocks from the home where she lived with Maddie Kaylee
on,
and
Mike
2
Jackson?
other
Welcome,
young
brother.
female students.
Randy, what's going on, Randy?
I
Damn, Ryan Laundry in a flower bed.
That night, a Twitch video from the grub truck recorded Kaylee and Maddie ordering food around 1:30 a.m. after hanging out at the Corner Club bar.
Cool, thank you.
Maddie and Kaylee hung out for a few minutes, doing what college kids do, looking at Kaylee's phone, at one point taking a selfie.
I remember going and downloading the whole entire Twitch stream. Cassie said, I support you 100%, Trevor. The one specific creator that works hard to prove his tunnel theory shouldn't be down. So I don't even know who I don't know a him that talked about a tunnel. So that's crazy, but is what he believes and he works hard to deliver as much. I don't even know the him you're talking about. Dead serious. Don't even know who you're talking about. I just know from looking at emails, because people send me these emails all the time about this case, like randomly. I probably just got I could have just got one a few minutes ago about this case. I'm always getting emails like constantly about different things, you know.
It's late.
But I didn't even know what he talked about the tunnels. Like a male creator. I've heard a female creator talk about tunnels, but not no male creator.
The lifelong friends walked away, a guy in a white hoodie trailing behind. Kaylee and Maddie took a rideshare home. The driver told me he had driven Kaylee, Maddie, and Xana home many times. He said they were all nice, happy, friendly girls.
If you are talking about, yeah.
That morning, he dropped off Kaylee and Maddie just before 2 a.m.
The drip drop?
Police would later say Xana received a food delivery at 4 a.m. and her phone showed she was on TikTok at 4:12 a.m. A short time after that, Moscow police believe Maddie, Kaylee, Ethan, and Xana were attacked and killed. Hours later, 2 roommates awoke. Then came a call to 911, and the home on King Road that had been the scene of so many parties became a crime scene.
We know that the autopsies confirmed the identity of the 4 victims, determined the cause and manner of death as homicide by.
You also got to look at it this way. I see people that are talking about it in chat, the crime clown, blah, 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 blah. I get it. All right. I see what you're talking about now. So everybody's saying that Drip Drive started the tunnel shit. Did he? Because we watched a lot of the videos here, I feel like. I don't remember. I mean, I seen something about secret tunnels, but I said right immediately, I don't believe that shit. You know? But that's just my own opinion. Because I can't find nothing that shows me tunnels under this house. I can't find anything that shows me that. No concrete. There's no concrete evidence that you can look up on the internet that shows tunnels under this house. For me, anyways, that I found that an actual human can get in and get out, especially with a door. And then it just lets unknown slip through, but it just says F everybody else. That's some funny crap.
By stabbing, and determined that it was likely all 4 victims who were asleep during the attack. Some of the victims had defensive wounds, and each victim was stabbed multiple times. There was no sign of sexual assault.
Based on details at the scene, we believe this was an isolated, targeted attack on our victims.
I got you.
The brutality of this crime in this small college town of 25,000 was unbelievable.
It was so scary. We were just like, who could have done this? So yeah, it was a lot of fear. It was so sad. And then you saw the photos of those beautiful, young people over and over and over again.
Cindy Hollenbeck lives in Pullman, Washington nearby and has 2 college-age children.
This is a place where we don't lock our doors, and I started locking, checking every single night. I was in so much fear.
People around the state of Idaho started following the story, and then around the world.
It was so senseless. These young adults were in the prime of their lives, and that last photo that has made kind of rounds of all of them smiling and standing outside really, I think, sticks in people's minds as well. And we're all still grieving the loss.
But who would stab these 4 students, and why? Stabbing is such a personal crime, and
you have to be so close.
You can imagine someone over
thing in the whole world.
Oops, I skipped through some
motivate
crap on
someone
accident. Hold on. There we go.
to attack Maddie, Kaylee, Ethan, and Xana in their home in the middle of the night. She tried to figure out Angela.
Let's go back a little bit. Because this is the part that I'm talking about. Because stabbing is a very personal crime. So what did somebody do to Brian or whoever, allegedly, right? What did somebody do to him to piss him off, to make it so personal, to piss him or her or whoever off? Who did that, right?
Stabbing is such a personal crime, and
you have to be so close. Why not to do it?
Dr. Angela Arnold is a psychiatrist who has followed the case. She tried to figure out what could motivate someone to attack Maddie, Kaylee, Ethan, and Xana in their home in the middle of the night, and stabbing all 4 in possibly a short amount of time.
I also have to wonder, when someone does something like this and it's so brutal, how much of a sexual undertone it has to it, and what kind of sexual pleasure he got from performing this.
As the days and weeks passed, it seemed as if police had little to go on. It would be a daunting task, trying to figure out who killed the 4 students. The house where the murders happened was on Greek Row, just off campus.
Not a lot of cars, a ton of foot traffic. A lot of students like to live over here and then just walk to classes.
Max Kime lived directly across the street from the house on King Road and spoke to police several times. The officers asked Kime about noise coming from the house.
Lots of partying going on in Moscow, Idaho. So if there was a lot of yelling and screaming, I'm sure I slept right through it, because there always is. That was the best I could tell any officers.
Days after the murders, family and friends of Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan, and Xana gathered to pray and to remember them.
Maddie Mae.
See, that's what I'd love to know what Ben thought. Just to know in general what he would think about the houses. The house being torn down. I don't know why I said houses. About the house being torn down. I would love to know what his angle was on it. I'm sure it was the same as Steve's. Maybe. I can't, but I can't speak for him. But I'd like to know. We know Cara, she shared the petition. That petition the day the house went down, 10,000 signatures. I think that was more than the first one.
She was the first granddaughter, grandkid of any of her grandparents. She was Karen and my only child that we ever had.
Maddie Mogen's father, Ben, said she was a hard worker who made the dean's list every semester. Her family said she loved anything pink and sparkly, and she was loved.
And she was so...
I didn't see it. I ain't see no video about tunnels.
Such a happy, such a great kid, such a perfect little baby.
Darla, that's another thing talked about. Never saw any footage of them removing the bodies. You know, there's so many people there watching. I mean, could they go out the back and hit that little bit? I don't know. Could they go out the back? Because you know, out back they have that little side patio that leads up to, you just step over a little hill right there and you could be on that little side street to the back apartments. Or was it not so? I think because when I found out about it, it was November 13th it happened. It was until the 14th. I think I seen it on the 15th. Because it wasn't super high profile until like it took, I don't know, it grew, right? Because I remember seeing it around when it happened, but it was like the 14th or the 15th, actually, I want to say. I was doing a Kylie Rodney stream and somebody sent it to me on like the 14th or 15th. So it had to be, but it wasn't that big yet. I'm trying to think back. It really makes me want to go look because this case wasn't that big. It wasn't till like maybe November 21st or the 23rd. It really started to, you know, reach the masses majorly. I don't know if you remember, but I do, because by December 1st, there was thousands and thousands and thousands of people breaking Google. Billy says, T-REV, how you been? How you been doing? Good to see you. I've been doing good. How about yourself, Billy? So BK didn't do it, Maxine Brock thinks BK didn't do it. Well, we'll see if the defense can prove it, right? They're going down now. Skinny, not so skinny. Happy New Year to you too. I appreciate you coming by. Thank you.
And so just smart and funny and beautiful.
Maddie was a member of the Pi Beta Phi sorority where she had many friends who loved her.
She was easily the best person that I knew. She loved everyone around her more than life. She loved her mom. She always told me, "Don't you think my mom's so cute and so pretty?"
Kaylee's parents also took the stage to talk about her and Maddie.
I want everyone to know these girls were absolutely beautiful. They've been friends since 6th grade. So then they went to high schools together. Then they started looking at colleges. They came here together. They eventually get into the same apartment together. And in the end, they died together in the same room, in the same bed.
Ethan Chapin was a triplet. His siblings, Maisie and Hunter, attended the University of Idaho with him. His mother, Stacy, talking about the memories the family shared.
We surfed and spent countless hours in our boat listening to country music, which was...
Yeah, and I think that might be the downfall. Bagging the hands, obviously bagging the hands in case one of them scratched them, which I allegedly think they did. I think there's more than that knife DNA. The knife DNA, the DNA that was found in that sheath, and that swab from his cheek, I guarantee, I bet you, man, I'm willing to bet anyone in this chat right now that when it comes to trial, that there will be other DNA separate from what's in that knife sheath connected to Brian. Allegedly.
Ethan's most favorite thing in the whole world. We hiked. Typically, the kids did that reluctantly, I'll admit.
Hi, my name is Xana Kernodle.
Xana Kernodle was Ethan Chapin's girlfriend and a roommate of Maddie and Kaylee. Like Ethan, she was only 20 years old. She was majoring in marketing. By all accounts, Ethan was Xana's first boyfriend.
He had such an infectious smile and a charismatic personality. And if you knew anything about Xana as well, they were very similar in how they acted together.
Gripped with fear, many students went home to finish the semester online. Others stayed in their dorms, going to class on Zoom. Was a person
that angle right there? Oh, let's go back to that angle. That's actually a very good angle. Look at this angle, and this is what I was talking about right here. This is the back area. You know, in the body cam footage that you could see with Kaylee, and when the other guy came out with the zip tie on because they were playing, I guess, the drinking game, the zip tie drinking game or whatever. I was thinking, did they take, you know, people talk about the bodies, not seeing bodies being taken out, etc. Do you think that they take them out this way and come out and on the side here? So not all these people outside, because there's apartments everywhere out there, right? Would they take them out that back and put them in wherever? Right? I don't know. I'm just thinking, would they take them out the back? Because it's easy. I think you can get over here to this side street pretty easy from what I've seen.
Others stayed in their dorms, going to class on Zoom. Was a person capable of killing 4 people, walking among them? Who was it? And would he ever be found? There were just too many questions unanswered for anyone to feel truly safe. Coming up, inside the search for a killer and how police say they tracked down the man who murdered 4 students with a retired FBI agent and a death investigator. You are watching Law and Crime.
Oh.
The house on King Road had gone from a happy place with a good vibe sign hanging on the wall where college kids made memories to a horrific crime scene in a matter of hours, maybe even minutes.
The 4 were stabbed with a knife, but no weapon has been located at this time.
I really do think he came back twice, Blackthorn. Seriously. I so think Kohberger came back twice. Allegedly. I don't know. And the reason why I do think it's Kohberger is just DNA. Simple as that. You tell me you got DNA at a crime scene and you were able to match it to somebody, I'm sold. Until you start, and then if there is fuckery, like people talk about the conspiracies or planting, and you know, when you jump into that, now you got to prove to me that happened. You got to prove to me that, and that's how a juror's going to look at it too. You're going to have to prove to a juror that if that's your defense, it was planted. You're going to have to show them who planted it, why they planted it, and you know why they would want to set Kohberger up. That's what they would have to literally prove in that courtroom. Just saying, they would have to prove that in the courtroom. So if they're gonna go, well, it was planted, show who, and who was beefing with who, and why would they plant what? Who do they plant? Where do they get it from? So sorry to ask, but what do you came back twice? I think that he came back twice. I think that he went back to that house twice. Allegedly. I really do. I agree that he was there twice. I've always thought that. I don't know. I just recently really started doubling down on thinking he went back twice. And the second time, I don't know. But then again, somebody brought up a good point too. So it was like, I don't know. We'll see how it comes. We'll see how it comes down. Hold up. It's house. She said that. His phone not too, or no T, what? No T, too much heat. Twice for sure, in my opinion. Rev, DNA can be transferred by anyone. It doesn't mean that he was there. I know that DNA can be transferred by anyone, but once I transferred by anyone, so you're going to tell me that they transferred his car, they transferred that, you know what I'm saying? Like they're saying they have his vehicle on camera, so Now, when we get to talking about what you're saying here, what you're saying, hey, Rev, DNA can be transferred by anyone. Cool. So did somebody go into Brian's apartment and grab his keys to his car and hop in there and put his vehicle on camera? Because nobody could get me to believe that either. That's just another. That's where I have another problem. That's where my other question comes in at. So okay, I get that, but now you gotta tell me how his vehicle would even be there, and they're admitting that his vehicle was there. So what? That, you know what I mean? Like that, I see what you're saying there, but that debunks it with this. You know, their little, oh, he long lives to ride at night. Like, get out of here. That shit's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, we long lived the ride. Bryankohberger he loved to take these long lived rides. Yeah, I'm sure he did. Right down King Road or Queen Road, whatever road it is now.
No sign of forced entry into the residence.
The Moscow Police Department, with just 36 officers, had an overwhelming task ahead of them as they tried to figure out who killed Maddie Mogen, Kelly Gonsalves, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle. So where do police begin?
This actual slaughter that took place. So it is a huge, huge undertaking.
Veteran forensic death investigator Joseph Scott Morgan has followed the murders in Idaho closely from the beginning. Morgan describes the challenges of investigating the 3-story house on King Road.
For anybody that's had a collegiate experience where there's
doesn't make it
off-campus housing involved, many times
if your car is around the scene that night, your DNA is at the scene, we got some problems. There's definitely issues there. I'm not answering unknown. I don't know how unknown you squeaked through, and you've been calling me so many different times. It's absolutely weird. I was just showing people in Discord before. I'm gonna take a picture of every page as long as you called.
There's an open door policy, and particularly if you've got multiple roommates.
Or being a weirdo.
Hey guys, Moscow PD.
What's going on, Sully? Welcome.
Hey, turn the music down.
The door appeared to always be open at all times at the house on King Road.
Hello, miss. What's your name?
You know that.
Xana, do you live here?
Yes. The house where Xana, Kaylee, and Maddie lived with their 2 roommates was a popular party house. After the murders, several body camera videos from Moscow police surfaced, showing officers went to King Road several times after neighbors called, complaining about noise coming from the house.
We're only here for a noise complaint. Come to the damn door.
Kaylee
got no one's out riding around with these gas prices. Well, Miranda, I hate to break the news to you, but the defense team already said he was out riding around. 908, it's never too late. What's going on?
Hey, it's unknown.
What's up? Unknown. What's going on, unknown?
Oh, I'm unknown. I'm anonymous.
Sounds like Chris.
It is, Chris. How are you, buddy?
What's going on, Chris?
Not much. I'm, the house with the tunnel there. You know what that is? That where the door is and stuff. That's the old chimney from the original house.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much sure that's what it is. And what they did was they added on the additions and they cut it down, and they probably made like a cabinet or something out of it. And after they were added more rooms and everything, the house probably just covered up with drywall or something, or they had a door there at one time. But that's the original chimney from the house, because when that house was first built, they didn't really have that HVAC system and stuff like that, like they have in the house now. So that's what I think it is. It's just kind of like a mantle now. It's like, the bricks, and then they cut the chimney down and just, cement it off and make a little thing in there to put some pantries or something in, I guess, when they did the second edition. But and they switched systems for heating and AC, right? So that's I'm pretty sure
Mark Willis in chat, he goes, if they transfer this DNA to the sheath, why isn't there DNA on it as well? Come on. Okay.
What was that again?
Nah,
they transferred
Mark Willis said if they transferred his DNA to the sheath, why isn't there DNA on it as well?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know, but it's under the snap. And the snap, if you open up the snap, it's got a knurl in it, like where almost like a pair of old jeans or something where it snaps in. There's a knurl under there. I call it a knurl, but it's like the female part of the snap has like a little ring around the top, and it's bent in, and you could feel it with the tip of your fingernail.
Right.
So it's scraped under there. So that's how they probably brought it into a lab, put it into whatever sanitized area, and then they probably got that off with a swab underneath that knurl, and that's where they found his DNA. And the same DNA that is probably going to be the nail in his coffin is the same DNA that they use through the Innocent Project to get people out of prison where they didn't have this technology at the time and they were incarcerated.
Yeah, but if it was to free somebody, everybody before it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's crazy because you got the same DNA that people have been in prison for 25, 30 years getting through the Innocence Project, being released from prison. You're using that to convict somebody, but then you're using it again to get someone out of jail, and then it costs them millions of dollars when they have to release these people because you ruined their life. So they find the same technology that they're using to exonerate people as they are to convict him. So it goes both ways, right?
Yeah, it does. And on the 26th.
So why all of a sudden he's there, and now that DNA evidence is garbage? You know what I mean? People are saying, well, it's garbage now. It's just throw it out, and he could have rubbed against someone. No, it doesn't. They got the Golden State Killer. They caught him with the same friggin' thing.
Everybody has their own opinion. I'm always gonna say it, and I got my own too. So I hope people don't scorch me for mine. But if you do scorch me for my opinion, that's fine. We can scorch each other back and forth in a respectful way.
Yeah,
it sounds crazy, but I'm serious though. Like, there's people in here right now that completely believe Kohberger is absolutely innocent. But you know what? I'm still friends with him.
Yeah, that's their right to say. I mean, yeah, I respect that. And who knows? Something comes up, could be right. Hey, yeah. I'm a man. I'll admit to it. But that's the way I feel. So I'm just expressing what I see, and then through other cases, what I've seen, what is going on, and then how that DNA works, and then how it's transferred, and everything else that goes along with that. But technology has come so far, and it's something very hard to dispute. But could something come up? As long as show me the paperwork. That's all, and then I'll change my mind.
Also, yeah. Show me who went in there. I mean, his vehicle now. I get all right. We could refute it to touch DNA. Okay, cool. Well, tell me about his vehicle being around the scene. Then his vehicle being seen around the scene. Now, can we see if it's his license plate? Can we lock in on that? Is there other stuff to prove that it was him that he pulled out, went back? I'm pretty sure there is, because you know what? Just based on a deep dive I did a while back, he was seen 5 or 6 times in WSU area. So
yeah,
they have his every movement from. Dude, there's more movement tracked than we know, and that's why there's 51 to 52, 53, whatever terabytes right now. Because of
they need to go over that, and defense. It's handed to defense. Here it is, 51 terabytes, and that's a lot to go through, right? So have a freaking pizza party or something, and the defense attorneys and go through that stuff. Piece by piece, but this thing's, like I said, it's this DNA is the same stuff that exonerates people. The Golden State Killer, and after all those years, they show up at his house. He's cooking it. He's like, yeah, all right, let me get let me shut off the oven with the chicken. He had a chicken or something in the oven.
Yeah.
And he admitted to after that DNA was presented to him, he admitted to everything. He had to admit to it.
Mm-hmm.
He confessed, totally confessed. So it's it's got its ups and downs, but there's a lot of stuff, and that Pharaoh stuff with going in and out of the house. I watched these old videos on that stuff months ago. I saw with the 3D imaging, and they're like walking in the house, and then you walk to like the countertop, say like the kitchen countertop, you like walk right through it, see through the floor. I think that's going to be confusing to some people, and I don't know if they think the jurors.
And Chris, that's exact. Wait till I drop this video.
Oh, I can't wait till you put out the video.
The Pharaoh video, I'm already done with it. I'm just getting the finished touches on the edits. So that video should be out. Like I was telling people at the beginning of the stream, 50 minutes. Listen to me. I'm an idiot. Saturday, I said 50 minutes. I'm reading something, and that's what I get for reading and looking at something at the same time. But again, Saturday, it should be Saturday, and it's about 6 minutes long. But in what I was able to find, it honestly helped me understand more about what we're going to look at here when it comes trial, when we get into the courtroom, especially with the Pharaoh scanning in general, because it is way advanced. Good gracious, it's more advanced than I even knew. You know, it's a game changer in presenting complex evidence.
Well, that's why they let them use that in court.
I mean, and they're using it. They don't only use it for, criminal stuff. They use it for scanning schools and creating 3D models of tons of different things from different angles. But it's crazy. Like the stuff that I was able to dig up with it is insane.
They're starting to use it into real estate for selling real estate now, I heard. So I watched one of the videos, and they were starting to incorporate it because they have the Pharaoh, and then they have the newest Pharaoh from what I looked up and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a couple months ago, actually. The newest was the Pharaoh 2 Pro. So that's the newest version, I think, up to date. But yeah, they and one of the videos was a small video, and I don't know if it was from Farotech or from what, because one of the police departments will announce they bought this equipment, and they'll do like a short clip video on it.
Right.
So I watched some of them, and one that really caught my attention is the girl there that was the technician. She goes, "Yeah, we do the Farotech. We go in there, we do the scanning, and then we bring everything back to the I guess the station, whatever, and we have detectives over here, and they start going through that."
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes what happened, she said, was, and this blew my mind. She said that sometimes they see something on there that they didn't see in the crime scene. So they go back to the crime scene to go and swab it and get more evidence from it. Yeah. And that's on one of the videos there in the it's actually one of the I don't remember which video it was, because there's a couple of them where the police departments announced they're adding this new equipment to their division and stuff for solving cases, and it was on there. And she said that the detectives actually had to go back to the crime scene after viewing this stuff for weeks and go and find retest it or test that new evidence that they saw on the Pharaoh. So we'll see.
And the thing is, I don't think that they got rid of the mattresses or anything, honestly, too. I've seen a lot of people on Reddit specifically talking about, they gutted out the place, they threw all this stuff away, and no, they didn't. They bagged a lot of it up and put it into evidence. You get what I'm saying? They put it into the system, and it was tested. It was tested for if there was any stab patterns into the mattresses or anything that they collected from the scene. You know what I mean? Those things those things were collected for evidentiary purposes.
Yeah. Well, it was I'm sure they have other evidence there and stuff like that. So I mean, but yeah, there's you know, there's always something. So, you know, once they go through everything or whatever, but the one thing bothers me too is, Trev, is they went into that house. They said that house it wasn't really a crime scene no more. It was manipulated or whatever through, I guess, cutting pieces out of the floor, out of the walls or whatever, taking samples. And they said it wasn't really a credible crime scene anymore. But why would the FBI or the state or whatever go in there and do all that 3D technology a month before they tear the house down after all that's taken out? So now you have the technology put through the house with the holes in the walls and stuff, unless they fill them in somehow. I don't know.
Maybe the
You know what
he
I'm
said
saying?
maybe the Cowboys put the DNA on the sheath.
Oh my God!
The Cowboys, I don't think the Cowboys went there until way after.
Maybe they had a sleepover with Kohlberger and they transferred each other's DNA on there. I don't know.
DNA is DNA, period. Donald D. Nice says.
DNA, like that Tom, oh God, what's his name? Lang there, Detective Lang from OJ, did a lot of documentaries. Very good man. I think he's stand up. Said that you could take that DNA, throw it in the highway, and then let traffic drive over it all day. They'll still have the 3 DNA in there, the mixture. You know, so that was, yeah.
Well, Chris, I'm thinking there's, like I said, I think there's more than that one DNA profile from the sheath. I think that the sheath was just that was the DNA to get whoever it was where they had him at.
Right.
You got to also remember that, you know, they used that in the PCA as the open introduction. That is not talking about any other findings that they have, because during this time before trial, etc., they're doing testing on a lot of different things. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's going to be more things that pop up, and I feel like people aren't taking that into consideration. I feel like it's being overlooked. Oh, well, they just have this, and you know, they just have that, and these are the defense documents, but these are the, you know, the prosecution's documents, and it's like, man, chill out. This case is gagged. You have no idea what the friggin' prosecution is going to present when they walk in there. You have no idea if any of the victims had any skin under their fingernails. We have no idea about a lot of different things. I think we just need to relax, chill, and stop creating these conspiracies, especially about tunnels. And you know, that's just me though.
Oh, the tunnel under the house, yeah.
That's just me though.
There are tunnels under the university for servicing the steam pipes, because they built that in 1889. It was open for business in 1890 with the first administration building, and the first students came in on that first administration building in 1892.
Mm-hmm.
And it was established before Idaho was even a state, the university, which was kind of odd. But what the tunnels were when they built those big buildings out in the middle of nowhere at the time, they had to run some kind of power and heating and stuff to them. So they would run a steam generator. And there's a whole documentary, and it's way before this crime occurred. You could read it about the tunnels, but they're deep under the ground, under the university. And what they were made to was heat, because they would keep putting up buildings. And they started with coal, and then now the university over there, they have a natural gas thing to convert it, and then they're using wood chips, which is plentiful there, they said. So they're using wood chips for it. And there's a whole documentary. You can watch the whole thing right from Idaho State, right from the thing. And this is a few years back before this crime occurred. Penn State has 200 buildings being.
Thank you, Nina Marquez. Keep going.
Build electricity. Through steam, they build electricity and all that. You can't really bury the pipes underground, because if one of them blows, you can't you got to dig it up to service it. So they go under there. But it doesn't mean there's a tunnel and a secret passageway under the house, you know?
Yeah.
But it's there. You can read all. I mean, I couldn't believe Penn State had 200 buildings. They have their own power plants. I mean, it's if you watch these documentaries, they're amazing what they do. But you know, to think someone snuck up from under the ground and came into the house.
I don't know. You know, it just doesn't. It for me, it doesn't. It's not realistic, man. It's not. It's some old El Chapo. El Chapo shit. And I get it. You know, I did see some people say, you know, these underground drug tunnels. I've heard about all those, but this isn't that. You know what I mean? Like I have heard about all those different things and seen that through all my years of life of watching true crime and different things that happen across the news in general, just crime all over America. I used to watch all different types of documentaries. So I've heard about drug tunnels. I've heard about all different types of stuff, but for a tunnel to be under this house and somebody to, I just don't, I can't buy that one. Without like you got to show me on video in this. You need to go down there in this tunnel on video and be able to show me that.
I would actually need to see video proof and something to just. I would be like, oh.
Did you hear this now? Tom M. Thank you, Tom, for supporting the channel, by the way. He goes, when Chief Fry showed up in a U-Haul to load everything out the house, the U-Haul had Pennsylvania decal side of U-Haul before BK was arrested. What?
Yeah. So to rent the cars, they have all different license plates on them.
Bing bang.
If you go to Pennsylvania and rent a car, it might have New Jersey plates or Connecticut plates on it. You might have Colorado plates on it. You might have Idaho plates on it. You know, they come back and forth because, you know, U-Haul, you're using them you might be using them to move, right? So you're moving from, say, Delaware to Montana. So now you have a thing that's marked Delaware on the back of the U-Haul, but it just goes to another hub. That's all it is. There's nothing big. I know all about that stuff. You know,
Jeff says.
I can even have the guy, you know, next door. He rents out U-Hauls at one of the buildings by me. I know the guy really. I can even have him call you on the phone and tell you what's going on. Who he is about that.
This boy Jeff said, I sent you a video of me snapping my K-bar knife. What? Hold up. I'm gonna open it right now.
Snap the tip off.
This is him snapping his knife.
Stabbing his what?
Snapping the K-bar knife.
Oh, snapping. Okay.
Yeah. No. It's just like an example video of snapping the K-bar knife. I guess it gives you a little look into it. This is what happens when you snap a K-bar knife, huh?
I'll tell you, my friends who were in the military, they told me most of them were Desert Storm. You know, I had to actually drive a guy down from Jersey to over there, Camp Lejeune, to get deployed at that time. We were flying to get him out on overseas, but he told me that in Marines, he told me that the K-bar knife, they used to use it when they're in training or they drop supplies or they're doing training exercise. They didn't really use them for combat. They actually used them to like open the crates and stuff, and they used to break the tips off all the time. Told me that thing was a piece of shit. He told me, but you know, it's his opinion. But he said the snaps, like sometimes the thing they would get airdropped and they would bend a little bit, like the metal case where they had the MREs, like the food and the supplies for them, and then they would do like the buckles or something, and they use the K-bar. So they didn't really have a crowbar with them, so they used a K-bar to pop it, and then sometimes it would pop the tip off.
Now I'm looking at the sheath and the snaps here and seeing the things that you would have to do to get it. Okay, so I could really see how somebody's. Oh yeah, for sure. I could see how your DNA would get under that.
You see the knurl around? Can you? Because I can't. I shut you off.
Thanks for the visual, by the way. But I can definitely see where you can slip DNA up in that.
That knurl, where the female part is, and then you get the male part that snaps into it. The female part has like a little, like it's almost like a soup can that you cut open, but it curled in. Underneath there is where we get trapped. Even if you soaked it in bleach, you might not get it out. You know what I mean? But that little knurl part, where that snap holds in, where it's
Sarah Barnes. That's actually, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Chris, but Sarah Barnes and Chassis. I think they have the timeline completely wrong. When BK first arrived at 329, he parked and didn't leave until 357. But if you look on the video cam of Linda Lane, if it's true, there's actually some timestamps broken down from 331 all the way up to 407.
Right.
So There's like a final
Yeah,
pass
so
at 407, which is why I think that he already had slipped into the house and then made a return again, realized he had dropped, the sheath, etc., allegedly, and then realized there was maybe some police or cars in the area and got the hell up out of there, because there was police parked on the other side. There was things going on. You know what I mean? Who knows if he had a scanner in the car? There's no telling what he had in there.
you think that maybe he got really after he was done and then adrenaline started to shut down. He got paranoid.
I personally can't. I personally don't know what I think about that part. Outside of the paranoia, etc., I just think that he had went in, got to the target, his target or whatever target, right, and made the mistake and realized that the sheath was gone, went back and ended up running into to Xana. That's my personal thoughts on it. Allegedly. Oh, that's just my theory.
The only people getting a DoorDash delivery or getting, if it was dropped off, because I don't even know if they don't say, but if it was dropped off outside the door or she came to pick it, she came to get it out, or Ethan came to get it out of his hand, and then all of a sudden the crime starts, the homicides. So I don't know who was up and whatever, but somebody had to get the food, and then during the police, where they had the pictures with the kitchen, the food was on the countertop with her name on it from DoorDash. So I don't know if, just don't know, but somebody had to get the food and bring it into the kitchen. So, I mean, it could have corresponded of when this person came in. I don't know, but it'll probably come out in court, more of this stuff. I just hope that they did their due diligence with everything, and everything works out, because this is, I mean, there's nowhere else to go with this crime, So
if he's being framed, ask yourself, why would such an elaborate framing be done on someone like Brian, who is of no significance? He's not Jeffrey Epstein with a ton of dirt on his serious public officials.
Oh, I hate that guy. I hate that Epstein guy. Oh.
Hold up.
That little.
Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
I actually hate to say this, but I'm glad he's dead. I'm glad he's gone.
Oh, Epstein?
Yeah, I can't stand that guy. I hate him with a passion. That little smirk on his face, and when he did that deposition, and he makes me screw him. Hope he suffered. Screw him. God.
I see
Those
what's going on.
Those little kids and stuff. That what he did. Oh God. Gross.
Nah, I see what's going on in chat. This ain't the place for that, though. Is he really? You said, is he really dead? Not the time for me, anyways. No. A lot of senators when someone's yeah, you got to hit him with the
bing bang.
You know how it is, Donnie. Yep. Brittany Presley says, please refrain from arguing and disrespecting each other in chat. I mean, there you go. Alicia knows what time it is. I mean, that's how I'm looking at it. That's how I'm looking at it. If you see somebody you do not like in here, or there's somebody you don't like, you can easily ignore them. It's like, fuck it. We're all adults, right? 18 plus, more than one killer. Gloss Boss, who would you suspect of helping, or possibly like a driver or somebody? Do you think roommates? Do you think? I'm curious. I mean, we don't have to. I know there's tons of people in here that don't like each other. No, I mean in general. Yeah, you too.
Makes for a good conversation.
You got time for that. No, but just through this video right here, I can see where shit could be spread around, etc. Like, I can see where
I
his
don't know. You know
DNA
what?
could get in this snapped, but I think maybe he was more careful. Maybe he had gloves on, but maybe he handled the glove. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say.
It depends a lot on what kind of gloves he was wearing too. Because if he's wearing those nitrate gloves or latex gloves, they break. I use them all the time. We use them at the shop all the time. My guys, it would bust all the time in the palm area. So if you're working with a machine or something like that, and you're doing a lot of dust work or whatever, and you got a handle on the machine, whatever, and then you're moving it back, they would just go snap, pop right in the middle. So it depends what kind of gloves he was wearing too, because they do snap. If he was just wearing the nitrate or latex gloves and he's swinging away, and if you look at the K-bar, the one allegedly that he used, the type and the thing, it has like those ridges where the handle is to get a better of a grip, but it's not. Once you put a glove on, it gets even to the hilt, because the hilt is that area at the bottom where it protects your hand from going down to the blade. So yeah, it's possible a glove broke or something. Like it could have snapped in the middle or anything like that. If he has leather, if he's wearing like a leather, like isotoner or something like that glove on, it would hold a little more till it got really slippery, and it would start soaking it up, and then it would get really slippery. So there is some truth to maybe getting something off of that too. It would be very important to have the murder weapon, but don't have it. So, but there would be stuff with that with the handle as well. So if they had it, but they probably took that sheath too, T-REV. They probably took it and cut the
Bing bang.
Where the stitching is, where it stitches together. They probably cut all that out too and tested it, swabbed it and stuff.
I
So
think
if
they
you see
tested
it,
everything. Now the thing, they have no knife that we know of, right? We don't know if they have it or not, but we do know that when they went to Pennsylvania and did the search warrant, that there was something written on the piece of paper that said knife, and it was just circled knife, but there was other little pocket knives and stuff that actually were brand name knives. So I was always curious about that, number one circled knife that didn't have a brand label to it or anything. What kind of knife was it? Was it a butter knife? Was it a kitchen knife? Was it a K-bar knife? Was it we can't say what kind of knife it was, because guess what? It was written just knife. But why would they directly label a knife on there but leave the other knife unlabeled? That makes no sense to me. Yet I've yet to hear an explanation from anybody that can explain that.
Yep, that's what I wanted. What it was, what did it say? A knife or just knife? It said knife, right?
Yeah, it said knife only.
Just,
like
just
it only
knife,
had
knife. Yeah,
but
just
then,
knife. And then the other one.
But Chris, if you go down below that, it said there was another knife on there, but it said Smith & Wesson pocket knife. So why are you labeling me one knife, but on the other one you're not labeling it any? Maybe there wasn't no logo on the knife at all, and it just was a knife, and they just put knife, or it was something of significance. They knew the public would see it, and they just put knife.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And I always figured that, thought about that with the that warrant and what they collected. Why does it just say knife? Why would they write that and then specify another knife that was found and specified as Smith & Wesson? So yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I don't know what that knife could be. No one does, but maybe it's written that way for a reason, and maybe it'll come out in court, but that's odd. I think. Another thing too odd is there was someone told me, I was talking about the case with a friend of mine and stuff, and he was asking me, where's the guy's watch and his knife sharpening bar? Was that ever retrieved? I says, a watch and a knife sharpener, what the hell are you talking about? And he says, usually those guys, they like to, if they're premonitioning about doing something like that, they like to sharpen, make sure that knife's totally sharp before they go. And sometimes techs could get, I guess, evidence off of it somehow. And then usually they wear a watch. He said a lot of these guys wear a watch, especially a guy like that that's criminal justice, is checking his timing, and then he shuts his phone off. And I was like, so I went back through, so I said, let me look through the videos where he got pulled over and everything. I could never see him wearing a watch, and there was no watch taken in the where they did the search warrant and they collected possible evidence. I never saw a watch, and I never saw a knife sharpening bar or instrument to sharpen a knife. So
I agree, Don. Don says, T-REV, I'm thinking they had proof he ordered one from Amazon. And I always bring that up too about the posting from, what the fuck is his name? Docket. He's on Twitter. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know, but
Yeah,
I know what you're saying.
He posted before Dateline. We talked about it on here because I remember even pulling up his post from Twitter with the Amazon receipt, talking about the Amazon receipt. So that was brought out very early. I'd be curious to ask him how he got that information, because that was before anybody that I knew had the information, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's like that Papa Rogers. That whole thing with the Papa Rogers thing is the one thing gets me is the reply on another channel that says that I'm hanging out in the shithole woods of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and that was on 4chan. That was on 4chan. What you just said is from 4chan, specifically from 4chan, and it talked about also the same. I think it was maybe the same person, different post on 4chan that said something about intestines with a ceiling fan, and I'll leave it at that. And anybody in chat probably, or if you followed this case from the beginning to end, you know what I'm talking about. If you dug in all areas. BK did it, in my opinion, but who else was involved is the real question for me. Rebel 95 says
that report is that reply is the most important thing out of all the Papa Rogers stuff.
Which one?
That reply to say I'm in the shithole woods of Pennsylvania. That's the most important reply, because that was done on December 10th or December 15th. I can't remember the exact date, but it's redacted who replied to that. I don't see the name on there. But and then they said they'll never catch me. Who the hell would know?
That was on 4chan. That was on 4chan, by the way. What you just talked about.
But who would know before this guy's captured? In Pennsylvania, of all places, you're all the way across the country, Washington, Idaho, California, whatever, over there. Who would ever know something like that?
Exactly.
You know, so that reply, I think that Papa Rogers is law enforcement. And what I think they did was they started from what I read, they started November 30th, the Papa Rogers, right?
Happy birthday to your son, Adrian, 19. Regina. His favorite song is tell him I said happy birthday to him. Happy 19th birthday.
Happy birthday, Regina's son. I like Regina. Regina's very nice.
Yeah, Regina's let me know. Shout out to him.
Shout out to Regina's son. Happy birthday.
Much love to him. I appreciate you, brother.
But what I was saying, that Papa Rogers thing, I think that's law enforcement, and I think they tried to. It started November 30th, so that's around the time maybe they got enough evidence, and that's either police informant or law enforcement, maybe FBI profile or something doing that. And what they're doing is trying to bring him in by throwing out this little bit of evidence to incriminate himself and reply. And then towards the end, they start pissing him off a little bit, and he's like, "You know what? Screw you guys. I'm in the shithole woods of Pennsylvania, and you'll never catch me," or something like that. The reply was through the 4chan one, but there's something to that, man. There's got to be something to that.
Was it just a troll that happened to be in Pennsylvania that was trolling, or was it something? That's a great question.
Yeah, that could make sense too. Yeah, just some guy in PA and says, "Yeah, you'll never catch me. I'm in shithole woods." But it's just kind of ironic, the coincidence of everything, and then where the crime occurred, and then where he stayed at. So there's something to that, I think, but it's hearsay theory right now. But that whole Papa Rogers thing is just actually disturbing in a way, very disturbing. But
Ghost Devil says, bro, he was caught in the middle of the night with gloves on, putting rubbish, etc., in separate bags. I believe he was going to unalive his parents also and do a running. So you're saying he would? Oh, I see what you're saying. I'll put it down. So he's saying that he was caught in the middle of the night separating garbage in separate bags, and that he believes that he was gonna take his parents' lives allegedly, and also go on the run, or do I think that's what he was saying.
That's another thing with the case. You never hear from his family. Like, he's innocent. Everyone's saying he's innocent, but them. I mean, well, not everybody. I mean, like, a certain part of people think he's innocent and whatever, and they're saying that oh, he's this is BS and whatever. But how come his parents aren't jumping on that bandwagon? His family, his sisters, and everybody. So they could have been victims. They are victims of the circumstance, but they could have been victims. Sure, yeah, that's a very good possibility.
You never know. You never know. It's crazy stuff. Well, Chris, I appreciate you calling in, my brother, man. Shout out to you, and lock your doors, man. I hope you had a good New Year, good Christmas, good everything. But it's on to 2024. We're just starting. So
yep, positive, man, positivity. So you be well, thank you. And I did have a good New Year's. I got to spend a little time with you, bullshitting, and then
yeah, no doubt. Well, that's good.
Yeah,
good 40 minutes.
It was good. Yeah. So be well, man. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
No doubt, Chris. God bless you, brother. Thank you for calling in. I hope you have a blessed day. Again, lock them doors and stay safe.
You as well. Thank you.
No doubt. Chris, I appreciate him calling in. God bless him. 219-885-9693. Let's hear from you. What's going on? Did you find that guy that called in here before arrest? Yes, I did. I did find that guy that called in here before arrest. Been out. 504, you're in the door. What's going on? Talk to me.
Hey, T.
What is going on?
What's going on?
Hanging in there, listening to your background. What's going on with it?
I turned it down.
Sounds great.
Yes. Oh, yeah, it's loud in here when it wants to be. So I just have a story about DNA.
Okay. Talk to us.
When I was younger, I was dating this guy who happened to commit a homicide. And that is definitely how they convicted him. DNA don't lie.
The DNA doesn't lie. That's why I immediately hopped on board with come on, this is the guy. You got DNA. That's all it ever takes for me in any case is DNA until you prove that it was planted or anything else.
And a lot of people say, oh, well, that can't be done in that amount of time. Everybody sit for just 10 minutes and see how long that is. Not even 20, just 10. Mm-hmm. And you realize how long 10 minutes really is. And that's what people don't understand. Like time, we look at time as time flies by. But when you're in a commission of doing something, it's not that quick. And I just think that some people that were there were just collateral. Like he went in, he did what he did, and I think that Xana just he seen her, and it's sad. It's really, really sad that, people go to that extent. But the thing is I'm sure that they have way more stuff than they're telling people that they have. And I personally wear rubber gloves all the time. When I'm cleaning, when I'm cooking, when I'm cutting up food, and I have fingernails. So, you know, my fingernails go through them easily.
Interesting.
So people have to look at, you know, what type of gloves. We don't even know what type of gloves this man had on. But if it's latex gloves like he had on when he was at his mama's house and his daddy's house, then you can kind of figure that he may have been wearing latex. He might have had them tripled and doubled. Nobody knows. You know, did they break? But they have more than that one little speck of DNA that they're saying that they have.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Like I just willing to. I have a feeling they do. This is crazy.
And by the way, I'm sorry. This is Mississippi.
No, this is, you know, you're good. You're good.
So yeah, I just wanted to call in and say hey and wish everybody a wonderful, beautiful 2024. Keep your hands out because this is the year that you receive things.
Yes.
So keep your hands open and keep your minds open and receive the gifts that come your way.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. I appreciate you calling in. Thank you for the kind words.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
God bless you. Lock your doors. I hope that you had a good holiday. Well, I was gonna say holidays because in general I throw Christmas and New Year's together. I throw New Year's and Christmas together. That's why I say holiday, but people call them holidays. You say you guys had a Christmas party?
No, we didn't have a Christmas party. We were house hopping for Christmas. Yeah, I cook Thanksgiving dinner, but I don't cook Christmas dinner. So we go roundabout the ways for Christmas. But I missed the New Year's party here. I don't know what happened. I don't think I got I don't think that I got the thing on the phone. Usually I get it, but I must not have, or I missed it. So I missed the party here.
Damn. I was seeing this one. Well, I appreciate you calling in. Thank you for the kind words. Lock your doors. Stay safe. And hopefully I'll hear from you again, sister.
Okay. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great day.
Shout out to you, girl. I appreciate it. So with love. 219-85-9693. What is your thoughts on this underground tunnel? Are you going to come out of it in Moscow? Are you? I'm sure they do have a lot more, Zoe says, but it won't let me click it, Zoe. Dang. Oh, it was lagging. D, what did D? Hold up. That comment that I just had up before, I was reading that. D said something about the Chapins. I mean, no disrespect, but the Chapins seem to be more concerned with the university than justice. Don't come at me. I mean, absolute disrespect or no disrespect. Something I feel. 678. It's never too late. What's going on?
Hi, this is Sarah.
Sarah, what's going on? Talk to me now.
Yes. Well, I don't think you saw the follow-up comment I had.
I must have missed it.
The timeline, yeah. I think what happened is that the first pass at 329 is him, but he parks, and you could see the headlights on from where he would be on the side of the King Road apartments.
Yes,
right
ma'am.
by their side of their house, right? And then he doesn't leave again. They show another pass at 357, which is him leaving or trying to hide his car because he knows the DoorDash is coming because they give you the alert before they get there. And they ordered it as part of, and I say they because I don't pretend to know who his accomplice is or whatever. I just don't believe he acted alone. There's too much other stuff going on for him to have acted alone. So what I think they did is they tried to move the car from where it would be parked on that side, and so that the DoorDash driver couldn't identify it later. So they move it at 357, and then after the DoorDash driver leaves, they come back around, and it's two cars, one at 405 and one at 407. Now they're both light colored, so it looks like him passing twice. However, he does the the 3-point turn, and right as he enters there, you could hear the other car hit their lock button. So how can it be someone locking a car right there and him driving if it wasn't two cars? Does that make sense?
And you're going based off of what?
The Linda Lane footage.
Okay, because he passes at 3:31, he passes at 3:39, he passes at 3:37, he passes at 4:05, and he passes at 4:07.
Right. Okay, the 4:05.
Now that's 5 passes, right?
Okay, right. But the first one, he's only in the first one, 3:29. There's another car that is not him. There's two people, two white vehicles.
Well, the white vehicle that you're talking about is from a trash can footage. It's a trash can.
I'm talking about the passes where they just show him pass along the side of the King Road building.
Oh yeah. And that's the one with the 5 passes. But there's one other camera to the right that shows a trash can footage from like 12 o'clock with a car that has like a friggin' sun.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a BMW I've heard, but
right.
I'm not even talking about those videos. I'm talking the ones from the streets that they reference in the PCA from 3:29 to 4:20. Those passes are not all him. And the Linda Lane footage, every pass, people are assuming it's all Bryankohberger. Those 5 passes of the white Hyundai Elantra is not. The one where he does the 3-point turn I believe that is him. And I believe he's also the one at 3:29 and at 3:57. I think those are the 3 that are him. The other 2 are very close in proximity and time, but it's the other vehicle. And if you watch the 407 footage, the one where he does the 3-point turn, right before that was that 405 pass with another white vehicle that went through the building, right around the building. But you hear them locking their car as Bryankohberger is entering that parking area. So how can a car be locking the door right at the same exact time he's pulling through there? Because there's 2 cars. It's just a single beep, like a block.
2 vehicles.
And
interesting.
I didn't do this analysis. I don't know why I've become obsessed with this case. I'm not
like many of us. I'm one of them. Keep going.
I never watch YouTube videos on any other case except for this one, and I have just become obsessed. And it's because I know something's off.
And it's okay. It's okay to be obsessed, and we all do. That's how we all get over it. That's why
because there's no way that it can play out the way the PCA is reading. And I'm not even talking about the time it took them to do it. I'm talking about even their own PCA it talks about them being on Indian Hills at 3:26. You can't be at Indian Hills at 3:26 and be at Linda Lane at 3:29. And it's just like their whole there's so many discrepancies in their own PCA on timing that it just doesn't make sense, and it never did. And I just don't believe he could have acted alone, especially with all the other things that have been going on in Linda Lane. I don't believe half of what I hear on people's theories, but I do believe what I see on that video. And at 3:19, before Bryankohberger even gets there, someone's out at that little black SUV, and you hear plastic, moving around like they're either taking off plastic coverings or putting stuff in garbage bags or something. They're at that SUV, and it's clear as day. You can hear it. And that's before Bryankohberger is ever seen in that area. So what I believe happened is that Ethan and Xana were killed, and that Kaylee and Maddie came in during all of that at 2:00 in the morning, and that they held them up in the rooms. That's why they were in the same room too. They kept them in the room, and maybe they called Brian in for you take care of them. Maybe they knew him too personally. I don't know, but they knew they had to go because you hear arguments and things like that outside. You don't get a clear as the bell audio, but you do hear that there's some altercations going on way before Bryankohberger was ever even seen in that area.
It's wild. I'm confused. I'm confused on Linda
405,
Lane. It doesn't even connect to the road to make a pass by the house.
It does.
No,
because
it does.
goes
It does
along-
for sure. It does.
Makes that loop. And it also, Linda Lane comes up. You can hear people pulling up Linda Lane. I wish we had that other video from the other 1320 or the dumpster videos for all of that same time frame, because I believe you can hear cars that pull up along that side. They must have come up Linda Lane because you could kind of see little bits of shadows or something, and you could hear like footsteps and trunks opening, closing doors. And of course, people live there and they could be residents coming in, but it just seems too suspect on the timing of all of this, on when these things are happening. You know, like you'll see the person who's out at 319, you know, it's almost like they're waiting for Brian to get there, like they know he's coming. And I mean, like I said, I don't get into a lot of the crazy theories that I've seen out there. I don't believe a lot of it, but I do believe what I see with my own eyes and hear. And that's exactly what's showing on that video.
Linda Lane doesn't. Linda Lane doesn't go around the house. Only Queen does. But the camera is mounted to 1330 Linda Lane building, pointing into Queen Road parking lot. Yeah,
right, but it goes along. It does. Linda Lane does not go there. They're correct, but it does. Goes along the back of the 500 Queen building, and then it has that little drive-through that goes around the back of the King building, and then along down Linda Lane. I mean, not Linda Lane, down Queen Lane, right on the side of the house. It does a loop.
You're welcome, Kathy.
There's parking back there.
What now? Now I want to get down to this other vehicle. What's this? What is another vehicle? Which one is the other vehicle in that you're saying there's another vehicle? There's a second vehicle.
This is one thing I've heard, and it may or may not be true. They say that it is either a Ford Fusion or a Chrysler 300, because the top of the windows, as you see it pass by the side of the King buildings, you know, you'd only get the glimpse of that top of it. That the tops of the windows are straight across instead of having a little angle or arch to them like the Elantras do. And it does appear to be that way. Like I said, I'm not saying for sure that that's it, but I do believe that even if he had drove by there twice, it's a 329 and the 3 whatever it is before 357, he was there. He never left the area, because even the PCA talks about not seeing him leave. They assume he left Willenta because he's not seen on camera again until they say 405.
Let me pull this up too. This quality is horrible though. I was looking at a picture of exactly. Hold on, let me clip this, and I'll pull it up right now.
And I haven't heard anybody else say this theory about the timeline being that he was, in the house earlier. And I really believe that's how he could have done all this. And I do believe that the other roommates are involved in some way, because there was cleanup, obviously, or else maybe they left the house and he cleaned it. I don't know, but I don't believe that's the case, because they have him on camera other places, and his phone pinging after he leaves.
Right. Hold on, here it is right here. This is a cleaner picture. So it shows right here on here, 500 Queen Road. So that's 500 Queen Road, 500 Queen here. Also, Linda Lane has the cam, the pic. It shows everything right here. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Okay, why is it doing that to me? Open with. There we go. That's big enough. All right, there we go. White Chrysler. Somebody said a white Chrysler.
I heard a white Chrysler 300 or a Ford Fusion.
You're welcome.
That I have no idea. That's just something I read.
So right here, 1330 Linda Lane, which is what Jeff, I think, was referring to. 1330 Linda Lane.
Yeah,
only one of the cams is visible in this picture.
I'm talking about the side of the King building, not Linda Lane. It's from the Linda Lane footage.
So, but people need to understand another thing. Back here, this is your only way to go around.
I can't see what you're showing me because
I'm showing people on that are on the live because this. I got a picture of somebody said, how can you go around, or how does this come around, or whatever? Right here, you would come down here and go through where my mouse is now, up this way and back around. The 1122 Kane Road house is right there, right where my mouse is.
You go through by the side of those 500 Queen buildings, and then there's parking behind those.
Yep, there is. There's parking right behind there, and you could park back there and walk down that little thing. Walk down the little ridge and go to the back slider.
Correct. And then if you turn you go along the side of the Queen buildings on the other side of them, and you're also on one side will be the Queen building, and the other side would be the King Road house. So it's sandwiched right in between. There's that little access alley.
Yeah, this has this little alley here. I'm pretty sure I have a video of this alley, the Queen Road apartments. I actually have a video of that. I'm gonna pull that video up.
Yeah, I've seen it. You walk through between the buildings, but you can drive through behind the second building.
Yeah, this one shows it 100%. This shows it. It comes right here. People are like, what apartments are these right here? These are the Queen Road apartments, ladies and gentlemen, where you can walk through. One side leads to Linda Lane. This is it right here. People ask, Rev, where'd you get this?
Yeah, you walk through the between the buildings, or if you go further up that little alley, it goes behind the second building and comes out on Queen Road with parking behind there.
Thank you, Hollis, for the 12 months. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So this second car, though, I'm in the Linda Lane footage. There was a guy that went out to a vehicle, got into a car. You're not talking about that car, right?
No.
Okay.
I'm talking about, they just assume because it's a white car, which nobody can say for sure, right? I really don't think only the 3-point turn where he stopped is even halfway identifiable to the make and model. Right. Mm-hmm. The glimpse that you get as him passing along the side of the buildings, all you can see is the light colored top of the vehicle. But one point that was made, like what made me start thinking this way, is that if there were two vehicles and you see that the top of the windows are squared off instead of rounded like they are on the Elantra, then that makes sense that it could be a second vehicle. And also the timing of, like I said, the one that goes at 405, it parks as the 407 car, which is where Kohberger makes the 3-point turn. You hear a car lock as Kohberger is still driving. So the one at 405 goes in around the building, parks. Kohberger does a 3-point turn, and he parks on the other side of the Queen building. You see, he parks up, there's like that little, that alley that they would have driven up. He just does a 3-point turn around, so he's facing that direction at a leap.
Yeah, I'd have to see what you're talking about, because can you send me the exact one you're talking about? Timestamp?
407?
Yeah, send me, because I'm.
Do you have the 4 to 5 footage? 4 to 5 a.m.
Oh yeah, I got it all right here,
yeah.
but I just had it even pulled up on screen right here. Hold on 1 second. Boom, right there. I have it pulled up again. It shows the 330 that goes into 331, the 339, the 356, the 405, and the 407.
Yeah,
now the 407 to the
videos are too hard to see because they're small on that. His full coverage, the full videos are much easier to tell. When he has them stacked and layered like that, it's kind of difficult to tell the difference. And you don't get to hear the audio of the horn honking.
Oh, I get what you're saying. So you're talking about the specific. You're talking about this one right here. You're talking about the actual 4 a.m.
Right, full 4 to 5 a.m.
Yep. And it goes
Okay,
right.
now scroll it to 405, and then you'll see the first pass, or not the first pass. This is when I think they came back after the DoorDash driver left.
That's where I zoomed in.
Okay, so this is the 405, and they go along the side of the building and then out the back.
Yep, that's where I had zoomed in on it right there, where where the vehicle had pulled in.
And then now this is 405. What's the exact time? Because almost 406, right?
This one is at 4. I went to 407 immediately.
No, you're at 405, I thought, right? Oh no, now it's 407. And if you listen right when he pulls in at 407, you'll hear that other car that went through at 405 lock its door.
What do you mean you hear it's lock its door? At what time you hear the door lock?
Right at the 407 mark before Bryankohberger does his 3-point turn. I don't have the exact time. It's right when he's pulling in at the 407 time.
Okay, the 407. I'm on that right now.
Okay, so listen. You'll hear one lock.
And you were the one talking about the timeline, the timeline being different, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Here it comes
That
right
gives him a
now.
lot more time in the house too.
Here it comes right now, 407. I'm gonna listen for the doors locking. For me, I don't know. That sounds like crunching rocks.
Wait, you hear it. You'll hear it. You'll hear it.
It sounds like crunching rocks to me when he comes by at 407.
It's the snow, but then you'll hear one beep.
Well, it wasn't snowing. They had salt down. It wasn't snowing yet.
Okay, well, it's crunching on the ground. I believe that too.
Mm-hmm. I don't know about a door locking, but I don't know if I hear a door lock because we've listened to that. We've listened to it so many times here.
It's a quick horn. Yeah, 407-24. Jeff says it.
The tunnels were evident.
Jeff just said it's 407-24.
407-24, but let's pull this back up. 407-24. 407-24. I'm not hearing doors locked.
You will.
I hear a horn.
There it is.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I don't hear no doors locked.
It was. I just heard it again.
I swear I don't hear a door. All I hear is a rock. I hear salt being ran over.
It's before you can see the car visibly. You only see headlights. It's at 407-24.
So
I don't know. I think there's like 6 or 7 people on here right now saying they hear it.
I don't hear the car doors locked. I hear somebody's horn. I hear a horn. Maybe if that's them locking their car with that horn.
Yeah, when you do your lock on your car, or even
no. When I do it on mine, it beeps right now. So for in general. So are you saying that somebody around this area locked their door?
Because another car right before that, 405, pulls through and goes around the building. That's them with their locking the door.
Huh. That's a good point. I'm following what you're saying now. I wasn't following it, but now I just caught on fully.
Yeah, because I think the 405 car is not Brian yet. And that's the reason why he does the 3-point turnaround. Bing bang. Because he's just going to turn around and be facing the way to exit on the alley, the front one.
That makes sense now. I see what you're saying. So you're thinking that the one car that comes through, there's another. You're thinking that there's another car involved.
I believe that too, and also because when they talk about him leaving at 4:19 or 4:20, there are 2 cars leaving. You'll hear 2 cars. And that's even before the SUV
Oh,
leaves
she goes.
a
She's
couple
talking
minutes
about
later.
drip drop. Okay, I see what you're saying too in chat.
What?
Somebody said that you were talking about drip drop or something. I guess.
No, I'm not talking about drip drop. I think he's a little bit out there.
I'm lost in this one. No, someone does come out from what? The apartment in the vicinity and unlocks his B. Oh, okay. No, someone does come out from some apartment in the vicinity and unlocks his beep and gets in his car. Yeah, but that's at like 4.
Yeah, this is different.
It's a little later.
Yeah,
She's
because
saying
the
at
beep
407.
is 1 beep, which means lock.
She's saying at 407, which I do hear the horn. I hear the horn go off, the beep, but what is that?
Okay, like if you have a key fob like I do, when I walk away from my car with my keys in my hand, it automatically locks with a 1 beep. When I open it, it's 2 beeps.
So who do we got walking away?
And no, you don't have to automatically lock it. I don't think he consciously did it, but if you have a key in your pocket, it automatically does it in most vehicles now.
When you're driving?
No, if you're walking away, that's why I'm saying it's definitely another car, because it's not going to do it. That beep didn't come from Brian's horn. It came from the car that went by a minute before. That is now parked on the side of the Queen's building.
So somebody that's about to go commit a murder is gonna hit the lock on their door?
No, but that's what I'm saying. They may not even have done it consciously, but if you have your key in your pocket and you walk away from your car, it automatically does it. At least with my vehicle, it does.
Yeah.
You don't have to hit a key fob anymore.
That makes sense too. I got to think about the cars and the way that they work and what cars, the models, and I got to, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I know you're definitely right about the key fobs and stuff like that. I've seen the newer vehicles, been in them, been out of them, heard the way that they lock. So that, you know, you're making a lot of sense with that as far as somebody's vehicle being, you know, locked, or if they walked away or whatever the case may be. But then at 407, when you're coming around for a second vehicle, you said somebody hopped out and accidentally hit the lock button on there. That's what your theory is on that?
No, not that they accidentally did it. It's the first vehicle, when it parked, he got out of the car and his keys in his pocket. As soon as you walk away from that car, it automatically locks. You don't have to push your fob. You don't have to do anything anymore in most vehicles. Just walking away, it locks your car automatically.
What if it's the DoorDash driver?
No, because the DoorDash driver had already left. You hear him leave at 4.
Okay, you hear him leave at 4.
And that's why
I'm thinking of things. I'm thinking, is that the DoorDash driver leave? What did the DoorDash driver park? But it makes sense that the DoorDash driver would park in the driveway or right there and then just turn around with a 3-point turn.
The DoorDash driver was there before that time, like 5 minutes before that, and you hear him honk his horn, do the horn honks, and then they honk again as he walks back, gets in his car and leaves. But that's at the 4 o'clock time. And that's why I believe Bryankohberger left. You can see a vehicle at 357, which people are assuming he's just been driving around the neighborhood and keep pulling back through Linda Lane. I think that he was there and stayed put from the first sighting, 329, until the 357 point when he tried to move his car so that the DoorDash driver, which they knew were coming because they got a text alert knowing he was going to be there at 4, because they are the ones who ordered it as part of their cover up, or, you know, to mess up the timeline. And so they knew that DoorDash driver was coming. They had to get their cars out of there so they wouldn't be able to be identified. So that's why you see them leave, but come back again within 5 minutes as soon as they knew the driver was gone. And they didn't stay much longer probably, but they had to finish doing whatever they were going to do with the DoorDash bag and whatever they had to do to finish up the scene for them. I still think there were more people involved, including the roommates, and I don't want to put any other theories out there because I have no proof of anything else, but it's suspicious to me. You know, the frat is suspicious to me. Enon's kind of suspicious to me because he's a druggie like Brian's background, and he lived right there, and he's just weird. But I don't know any of that. I have no proof of any of that. I'm just saying somebody else is involved with this other than Bryan-Kohberger. And it just makes more sense on the timeline of him arriving. Why would he go there? And people say, oh, he was trying to get the courage. No, I don't think that's it at all. I think he was there and that people knew he was coming, including the person seen at the SUV at 319 who's moving around plastic and is seen coming from that area. Mm-hmm. And you hear other people talking in that area, all right before Bryan-Kohberger is there. So it's just something to think about. I mean, like I said,
no, definitely. Definitely. That's why I had to get what you were saying first to even try to put it together. You know what I mean? Now I got what you're saying, so I'm just in my head trying to see.
And I don't think Xana ordered that food. People are saying that you don't know if she did. I don't think she did. I think that's part of.
Mm-hmm. You think it's part of the crime?
Part of their alibi or something.
Okay.
Of some sort. Trying to mess up the time. Like, okay, Xana was still alive at 4:00 because she's ordering DoorDash, you know, and she's on TikTok. Those I think were like just thrown in there to try and mess up timelines, to try and put alibis for people who had to leave. Because I don't know who else is out. Multiple people.
Mm-hmm.
There's just too much going on that multiple people had to have been involved in this. And I think Brian probably was only involved in the Kaylee and Maddie part of this crime. I think Xana and Ethan had already been injured. I don't know if they were already killed or not, but I think they were already injured at some point before Maddie and Kaylee even got home. And Maddie and Kaylee got there and walked in on this. And because right after they got home, like about 2:19, you hear people running around, almost like they were running from somebody. Like maybe, and I swear, I think I hear at 2:19, I hear somebody, like, I think it's Maddie crying, Kaylee, like she's running, like she's looking for her. It's almost like a whisper, but in a crying way, right under the camera, like along that back way. Again, that could be all BS, and I don't know that for sure, but there's definitely some activity going on after they get home at 2:00.
Because they got home at the one, you got what, 150, I can't remember. It's always 156 or one. They told us, remember, it was like 145 at the beginning, and then they were like, no, it was actually 156. Right. And then Xana and Ethan got home at, what was it, 145? Like right before each other, like. So I don't know.
And I think they were already there before that, but I don't know if sure. But I do think that they were injured before.
Trial needs to hurry up. I know that.
Yeah, and maybe they do have more evidence, but if they don't, if that's all they have is this knife sheath, I think we're in trouble. Brian's going to get off on this because I don't think they have enough evidence. I know that DNA is very strong, but the way that they've collected this DNA and only being a touch DNA, unless they have more DNA,
yes,
it's
that's what I speculate. Anyways, I speculate that they have more DNA. If you're gonna go ahead and in the prosecution, they're just fully friggin' fine with knocking the house down. Like okay, then I'm thinking you got some smoking guns then. So you know what I mean? Like, because
right.
They just bulldozed that bad boy and had it cleared out within like 4 or 5 hours.
Right. And also just think about if you were going to go and murder somebody, not saying you would, but if you're in a house that's 3 levels and people living on every level, why would you start upstairs where you have 1, 2, 4 people who are alive who could trap you upstairs? You see what I'm saying? Why would you start upstairs where you could wake the other people downstairs up if they're sleeping by noise, just even bouncing around in there, shuffling things around, you could wake them up. Why would you make it where you couldn't exit without having to encounter or possibly encounter other living people?
Yeah. That's why I always said since the beginning, like, who the hell walks up to a house with 5 or 6 cars and decides I'm gonna walk in here and take 4 lives? Right? I've said that from the start. I'm like, that just doesn't make sense. It's got to be someone that knows the layout of the house. That's, you know what I mean?
Or there's more people involved that they wouldn't worry about being overpowered. But I mean, Ethan's a big dude. No, he may have not known he was there because he didn't live there. But you just, I mean, if you've been scoping out the house as they say he has, then you would know that he's over there often. And I mean, with Koberger's drug history, and whether it's that house at King Road or if it's Enon or anybody else on this campus, I'm sure he was over there all those times his phone had pinged prior, was not for the King Road residents necessarily, but for his drugs, whether he was getting at King Road or somewhere in that vicinity. If he hadn't lived in that area for very long, he'd only lived there, 6 months or something?
Have you read the affidavit? I think that's what you meant, Evans. I don't know if you're talking to me as a caller. I definitely read the affidavit. This doesn't match with the affidavit. Autumn called it. Yeah, she said this doesn't match with the affidavit. The tunnel was exposed during demolition. I will do my best to send it to you. I don't know. I think a lot of people already were doing that.
It doesn't match the PCA, but the PCA is also wrong. If you listen and watch the actual footage, you can see that their timeline on the PCA doesn't match the footage.
The Linda Lane footage, correct?
Correct, because they talk about him, which we don't have this footage, of course, but they talk about him being on Indian Hills at like 3:26. But then that he miraculously is over on the Linda Lane footage 3 minutes later when it's at least a 7-minute drive. So
those are great. Those are great, very great points that we are going to hear about during the trial. If this Linda Lane footage is in fact Kohberger.
Well, that's
because it has not been proven 100% fact to be Kohberger yet. That's why I always say allegedly when looking at this footage. That's why I always, let people know, hey, I'm speculating because I've yet to hear that this footage is real and 100% authentic. I have yet to hear it one time. Now, the only inkling of possibility of truth of this being real was Steve the other day when he was on News Nation, and he specifically said, I seen leaked footage where somebody parked or basically talking about, or he didn't say somebody parked. I seen leaked footage, and these jurors who are farmers out here in Idaho, which he said probably most likely will be the type of jurors they'll have, are people who are out on their John Deere all day working on a tractor. They're going to want to see the angles that he parked at. And that's kind of how he said it on this interview on News Nation. So,
and I believe I know what he's talking about too.
I'd love to know what he was talking about, but it just shows that there's stuff out there.
I'll give you my theory.
I'd love to hear it.
Around the Queen buildings, and you're on the other side where you're kind of sandwiched between the house and the other side of the Queen buildings. It kind of is at a slope, right? It's at a hill. And if you're at behind the house on that road, or you can be further down past house all the way down to King. Well, there's a building that's, let's see, if you're looking from the 1330 Linda Lane footage, you're looking out over the parking lot, and a little bit to the left, there's an apartment complex that would basically run the whole length of that Queen building. And if you watch on the windows of there, you will see when a car is parking towards the bottom of that hill, because there'll be headlights. You can see people walking, like you'll see motions in front, breaking up the light, and it's only fleeting, but you can see when a car is parked there. if they have lights on, or if they have their doors open, or there's reflections on it. And I believe that's what Steve's talking about, why he knows where he parked. Because I think he did park on that side of Queen until DoorDash came and he moved his car. Because you can also see, like, when people, when he does leave, you'll see the angle that the headlights hit that building are different than when someone's coming in straight from King Road to the Linda Lane area. Well, where the Linda Lane footage shows. So if you're coming from the side of those Queen buildings and you make, you would have to make a right turn and then go along the side, the back side of those King buildings, you'll see the headlights kind of make a curve along that building. You know, you can see the way they motion. But if you're coming straight from King Road, where you're going to go in front of the 1122 King, the one that has the other light bulb footage, the lights are more straight on.
It's okay.
Like they'll come up, like if you have to go up a little hill, you'll see them kind of go shine along that building and go down, but you won't see them curve like they're making a turn.
Excuse me.
I know. I told you I was obsessed with this. I swear I've never gotten involved in any other crime or not like this.
I mean,
I'm
just as obsessed with it than you. Just I can't even speak straight right now. I'm just as obsessed as a lot of everybody else. I just don't dig in deep to like a lot of the conspiracies like I used to. Right. I used to actually dig into them, and you know, but I was like, I realized that I was wasting time because I just noticed the pattern. I was like, man, I'm looking at these different things. I'm like, with every high profile case, there's always some built conspiracy to it. And I'm like, right. I just got to stop.
I don't believe any of those conspiracies, or I mean, I listen to them, I hear them, I see if they make any sense. But most of the stuff I've heard is just nonsense. I don't pretend to speculate, you know, that I know this. And I've even said, I don't know who else is involved. I just believe somebody else is. I mean, I'm not going to any theory. I'm not saying it was the drugs or if it was this or that or the other. I can only go by what I can see and hear myself. And I'm not going to put any of this other BS in there in my theories or anything. So all I can say is, let's think about this. Maybe someone else has more information than I do that would put all the pieces together. And, you know, maybe it's something that the defense hasn't even thought of. And if it isn't bryankohberger, which we don't know, allegedly it is, but if it isn't bryankohberger, it still makes sense to look at these timelines and who else is driving around there at the exact same time a killer's supposedly going in and killing somebody, right?
For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Well, thank you.
It's wild. I can't wait for the trial to come out. I really can't. I hope it is this summer because it's right around the corner. 6 months, 7 months, even if it was August, it's right around the corner. So I hope they do plan. I appreciate you calling in, and I do appreciate the conversation with you. Thank you for breaking it down.
All right.
God bless you, man. Lock your doors. Stay safe. I hope you had a beautiful holiday, and hopefully I hear from you again.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you. I get what she's saying. But and it's a good theory too. The horn beeping. There's a second car, but it's just like you think that they would be able to snatch that shit, right? Oh, that's just 571. Let's have some fun. What's going on there, Joe?
T-REV. Man, when I was a kid, man, when I was trying to call into radio stations to try to win something, I wish it was like that. It never was.
Right? Shit.
Never.
What's going on? Talk to us, man.
Yeah, I really appreciate that last caller because I got to be honest, I heard the beep at the 405 and always assumed it was, you know, it was the white car accidentally bumping the, you know, I'd imagine it's kind of stressful if you're thinking about what you're about to do. But there is like there's a little bit of a metallic lock sound, and it sounds kind of consistent with other sounds I've heard like throughout that 4 hours of footage. But it sounds to me like, here's the thing I notice. Usually with sounds like that on the footage I've seen, if it's close by, there's also headlights that are flashing at the same time you're hearing the lock sound. They kind of go together. You unlock a vehicle, the lights light up, and at night on that camera, when it's set to infrared like it is, the littlest bit of light is visible. And I've combed through that footage looking for any instances of other vehicles. I tell you what, between 1 a.m. from 1 a.m. up to 4:20, when you can hear this car speeding off. So not including the black SUV, that comes like 3 minutes later. But 1 a.m. to 4 a.m., I only see 2 vehicles move through that back parking lot. The reason I went and did that, because a lot of people were saying, oh, there's all kinds of people going through there in traffic. And yeah, you can hear a lot of stuff in the distance, but you can't see anything except for 2 vehicles. There's a vehicle around 1 something that I think it's like 103 that is off to the left. You see its headlights first off to the left. It comes through and goes around the Queen Road Apartments buildings in the opposite direction that we see the 5 passes, right? And then there's a car that comes in kind of like he does when he does the U-turn sits there for 10 seconds. But this car comes and he parks right at the far left part of the fence. That's the only 2 vehicles that move through the parking lot or in motion, except, other than the 5 passes that we're talking about. It's only 2 vehicles that are actually moving. Now there's 1 vehicle way off to the right that there's somebody you can hear interacting with the vehicle. And I think they're coming from that little tiny apartment building that's off to the right, in the distance, because you hear them come out twice. It's almost like maybe they had stuff in the car. It was 2 trips to go carry it into the house, whatever it was, maybe groceries. I don't know, whatever it is. But it's interesting to, I love when people find stuff that I missed, because there's,
well, like just like that's the horn. Like that.
Well, the horn I
is
know
that what
about.
you're talking about? Like the horn, the
I knew
car
about the
doors
horn,
lock. I didn't hear no car doors lock. As far as like, I mean, the only thing that would indicate car doors locking to me would be that horn.
Yeah, it's a real subtle little lock. And I mean, it could be. Did you get that video I sent you of my camera that's the same model as the Linda Lane? I emailed it to you. Yeah. The reason I sent that is because you can see this tiny, tiny little hole in the front of that camera. That's where the microphone is. So when I think
somebody locked their door, right? If somebody locked their doors next, close into that vicinity, it might pick that sound up.
Right. Yeah. That's the best way, I think, to judge any sounds you're hearing from the camera is to try and get a sense of the distance. Like me personally, I really don't think you're going to hear anything from inside the 112 house during, the commission of the crime. I just don't. And I mean, and obviously the roommates there that survived are going to hear it better than a camera that's 100 yards away. But if you look at that camera video that I emailed to you, you can see that how tiny the little opening is for the microphone in this camera. I think the camera's a great camera for visual, but for audio, I mean, it's impressive, but it's still, for what I'm hearing on the videos I've done, I've had to remove a lot of noise. I've taken a lot of bassy noise out of it, applied noise reduction and EQ'd it a little bit. Still amazed at the stuff I can hear, but the stuff that you hear really well, I think, is in very close proximity to the camera. But what's interesting to me though, I'm looking at the PCA right now. I've highlighted times and stuff on it. I don't see anything in the PCA that's a problem regarding the time. If you consider that, I think they wrote this PCA with the timestamps in it based on the light bulb camera. I think they had that video first, and then I think the Linda Lane footage came next. Now, if they were lying in the PCA about what they saw on the light bulb camera, making up times, the Linda Lane footage would have come along behind and said, hold up, but it's in perfect sync. PCA says suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29, right? What we see on the 5 passes, the timestamps, 3:30 and 54 seconds.
Correct.
It's about 2 minutes later. Now it doesn't specifically mention the 2nd and 3rd pass, I don't think, but what does it say on the fourth pass? Suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering a 4th time at approximately 4:04 a.m. And what do we have? Look, it's almost nearly exactly the same. It's 2 minutes or less now the car is seen on Linda Lane, which tells me it's like PCA says first we see the car on the light bulb camera, and roughly 2 minutes or less later we see it drive past the Linda Lane camera. So even though it's hard to tell on 4 of the passes on Linda Lane what the car is, it's really difficult because if that wall was just a little lower, you'd be able to see the underside curve of that window, side window. But it's really difficult. Sometimes when I play it, I can see the curve, and when you go frame by frame, it's difficult. And I can honestly say I can see why people might think it was that Chrysler 300, because for their moments, but you can't tell sometimes. It's almost like power suggestion. Somebody says, "Hey, look at a 300," and then go look at the video, and then your mind is like, "I think I'm seeing the 300." Do the same thing to somebody with an Elantra. Hey, yeah, I think I see an Elantra, right? But I think the thing is that if we had the benefit of seeing the light bulb camera and the Linda Lane camera, then we'd say, yes, the car is hard to tell what it is on the Linda Lane camera for those 4 passes, but line it up and see when it passes the light bulb camera first, you see the whole damn car, right? So it's not going to be, for law enforcement, it's not going to be difficult to say, yeah, those 4 passes are definitely the same Elantra. I mean, the best I could do, because I don't have the light bulb footage, wish I did,
Right.
but the best I can do is look at the Linda Lane footage and listen closely to the engine sounds, which are it's difficult, and I still can't say for certain.
We need
I'm
to
going to
hear
be
the
honest.
same.
I mean,
We need to hear
I-
the same model on the same camera with the same mic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like we need to hear the same. Like if you want to get down to that, you need to hear the same Elantra, same year, same make, same model, same everything.
Right.
And through the same exact camera that they're using right here.
Here's the other thing I did too. Now I've got a friend who's got a 2016 Elantra, and I haven't done a video of this yet because I don't think it's scientific enough, and I hate to send something out and then have people talk about it and say, oh, I mean, just the fact that people are hearing a ton of stuff in the audio of the Linda Lane footage, and they say, I saw it on Jeff H's channel. It bothers me a little because I feel like, I mean, college students on a Saturday night, the sounds are not that different from screams of pain. And, it's so hard to tell. And so it bothers me a little to hear, and then but people are going to do what they're going to do. People are going to, but it's good. It's good. The jury is going to come. The jury members are going to come from all different walks of life, all different experiences. So it's like a reflection of the jury. But anyway, my friend's got a 2016 Elantra. Now I've said many times on the Linda Lane footage, it exactly, and not many people talk about this. I don't know why. I think it's very telling to me. But 4:21:01 a.m., I hear what sounds like a car trunk slam, and then 18 seconds later, you hear the car, obviously the sound of a car taking off like they just robbed a bank or did worse. I gotta believe they're connected, and it fits with the PCA. They said approximately 4:20. 4:21:01 a.m. is approximately 4:20 to me. But so what I did is I recorded my friend's car trunk slamming his car trunk. I stepped way back, not nearly as far back as what to represent a real test, but he slammed it. I got home. I listened to his trunk slam. I listened to the Linda Lane car trunk slam at 4:21:01 a.m. And damn it, they don't sound the same to me. Now it's not scientific enough for me though, because I mean, maybe sedans of that size, maybe they all sound that way. Believe me, I've been wanting to, when I'm out in the public and I see somebody with a sedan, like in a parking lot, I just feel like it'd be weird to say, hey, can I record the sound of your trunk closing? I'm sure they're thinking, yeah, you're going to throw me into it and take off. So I don't want to feel like a weirdo,
Yeah, no.
But maybe that's the kind of thing people can start recording some trunks and see if it sounds, sounds the same. But it just fits. It fits with my theory, though. If you put everything that was bloody into the trunk, I think it would be easier to manage the cleanup inside the passenger compartment of the car. Thing is, too, I'm still convinced. Even though I think Jennifer Koffendorfer, when you had her on, she said she didn't think that he used the butt end of the knife to knock him out first. She thought that they just went in really quickly, did this stuff. But I'm thinking Like, take for example, the first victim, I think, was Maddie. If he goes into her room, bops her in the head a couple times, and she's knocked out, don't you think he can just basically, he could run all up and down the front of her body with her facing away from him onto the bed? He's got nothing on him. He's going to get some stuff on the knife, of course. And then he's maybe about to leave. Now he encounters Kaylee coming into her room. And then, you know, they said that Kaylee's face was very damaged. A butt end of a hammer basically to the face is going to mess up a face very bad. I mean, the way they describe her face being broken up, that didn't sound to me like, you don't, and I think too, you know, you don't want to be, if the blade is not going to handle bone as you know, as well as a hammer. So that's why, even though Steve Gonsalves says, you know, they believe she was in the same room, was trapped against the bed, I think personally, I just think that's where her body ended up. I don't think that she was sleeping there. I think Murphy alerted her to somebody in the house with that distinct thing that dogs do. If you're a dog owner, I mean, my dog starts barking a certain way, I'm like, what? Who ordered food? Somebody's here. I think there's somebody here. It just makes total sense to me that that's what would happen.
I drive a
Yeah.
white
DM says she drives a Hyundai.
Yeah, I was reading that. I highlighted the same comment. I drive a white Hyundai. I'd let you hear me slam my trunk or slam the trunk.
Slam that trunk. Let us know if you got junk in the trunk.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I gotta find humor in everything. If you don't, you die sooner.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a fact too. You find humor in everything.
But
I kept dropping
anyway,
connection.
That's some of the theories. Yeah, I really think even though I got to say I don't really agree with that previous caller, but I'm glad I heard it, and I'm definitely, you know, keeping it in mind, and you know, checking it out always against my theory. Because I mean, I enjoy sharing my theory, and I feel like I think it's a pretty good theory, but I get just as much pleasure out of being debunked and be like, that's it. It's basically a mystery. You just want to try and see, you know, we all got pretty decent brains. We're trying to figure out this mystery, and I think, you know, with all our brains together, we can. Especially like when all our brains are, you know, being nice to each other. But that's human nature. You can go back to the Bible and see Cain and Abel. So, you know that's going to be hard for us to manage. But I'm trying my best.
You got it. It's manageable.
Yeah. What did Rodney King said? Rodney King said, "Can't we all get along?" I agree with that.
Yeah, you gotta. Sometimes Rodney King was wrong, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's I don't know. You know what? All I can do is me. I'm doing me, and I like how it's going so far.
Yeah, man.
I see. I feel for it, and I know the situation. I'm not gonna bring it up with you guys, but I hate to see people in. You know what it is? Probably with me is like I think when you come from like your kid and mom and dad aren't always getting along, but you got to love them both. That's where I'm at. That's, you know, I haven't changed, I guess, since I was a kid. It's like I might agree with one, disagree with the other, and then flip flop and agree with the other and disagree with the other. But I'm gonna love them both. So, and I'm hopeful, I guess. So, call me a fool if you want.
Sorry,
but I appreciate you, T-REV. I really enjoy these live streams you're doing, and I love that, you know, we're getting into the stuff that makes you think, makes you try and figure it out.
Yeah, that shit's crazy, man. Yeah, it's
But I think
crazy. I like
the
diving into it. I love all the hearing theories. I love hearing that. I love the discussions. I love all of that, because there is so many different opinions and theories and thoughts, and you never know who's right and who's wrong, because the information isn't out there besides what is put out there to us now, and it's not very detailed.
Right.
As far as, you know, step by step, where the entry was, which they said backslider, blah blah blah. But in general, we don't know if that's his vehicle that's driving around Linda Lane. We don't know that 100%, and we begin to dive into talking about it so much that a lot of us tend to forget that we don't know if it's a legit yet.
Well, like the video you're showing right now. I mean, the five times he comes around that corner. I mean, it's the same type of motion. Now, maybe any car will look that way. That's the one thing I had to look at, maybe, because there's only one other vehicle. Well, that's only from 1 a.m. to 4:20. There's only one other vehicle that comes around that corner that way, and he parks at the front, right at the left edge of that fence. I had to look and compare and see if there's any difference in, like, assuming that's a different driver, that a different driver would come around that corner in a different manner. The fact that this car comes around almost exactly, as far as I can tell, other than speed, exactly the same way coming around that corner, it makes me lean towards it being the same vehicle, same driver. And the fact that the last time he comes around is much faster than all the rest, and it's just prior to when we believe the murders happened. I don't know. I think that says a lot. But I mean, I feel like we're so crippled not having the light bulb camera. If we had the light bulb camera, I think this would be easy. This would be much easier. It'd be like, oh, look at that. It's definitely Elantra. It's definitely Elantra with no license plate on the front too.
So what's going to be the routine when the trial comes? Because I mean, a lot of people think it's not going to come this summer, but they're aiming for summer, and I think that they might get a summer date. And even if it's not summer, maybe it's September, right? Which is still not that far around the corner. 6 months, 6 to 8 months tops. I'd see this trial being, especially if they set it for the summer. I'm looking at July. I think that they're going to set it in July, but what is going to be the routine? I'll tell you what the routine is going to be. I'm going to be on a very strict sleeping schedule. I will be up 1 hour early before trial and live, and I will be live the whole entire trial. Then I'll start a news stream after that to where we have like at the end of the day, we'll have a thoughts. What was your thoughts on what happened today in trial? That I'll have one of those at the end of the day.
Right.
Every stream. Then as soon as I finish that, I'll take a melatonin, go to bed, and wake up again and do it all over again. That's how the trial is going to be. That's for me anyway.
Trial machine.
That's how the trial is going to be for me anyways, of covering it daily, on top of it. 2 different streams every single day, I think it's going to be, because 1, we're going to watch it. And then 2, I know people are going to have a lot of things on their mind and they're going to want to talk a couple hours after the trial about shit that they seen or any, you know what I mean? There's going to be a lot going on when the trial comes. Thank you, by the way, Lawrence. I appreciate the love to the channel. Thank you.
Hey, T, somebody asked a question. Where was it of me? Oh, D. Marie. Do I believe the audio is real? I do believe the audio is real. I don't see any evidence of it being tampered with, and knowing a little of the people where it came from, I don't see them having either the ability or the desire. I really think the desire was simply, got this footage and I've let some friends listen to it, and there's some pretty wild sounds, and they're doing just what we're doing. They're trying to figure out this mystery, and it gets so compelling, and people probably start disagreeing with each other like we do. It's like, no, I think something at 2 a.m. is happening. No, I think something at 3 a.m. is happening. And then before you know it, somebody has slipped that footage out to the public, and now it's out there, in the public, and now we have it. But I don't see anything nefarious. The people I know connected to the footage, I mean, I don't see them as people like, trying to do anything like that. So I think it's real. And I've tried to, you see on my Linda Lane footage, I put in the bottom left corner the Adobe Premiere settings I used when I did my noise reduction, when I did my EQing, I kind of put down there so that I'm very transparent. This is all I did to the footage and the sound. And here's the settings in case you're better than me and want to take it further and try and make it sound even better. There you go. Have at it. I'm not in this to get, make any money. And all my time on YouTube, I haven't yet made a penny. My estimated revenue from YouTube at this moment is about $27. So I'm about to maybe, and what's the deal? I don't think you don't even get paid till you hit 100. So
yeah,
trial might be over by the time I get my first penny out of YouTube. I know many people are like, Jeff, you got to start doing lives or something. Make at least $1 off of your YouTube channel.
It's a threshold of 100. Yeah.
But what happens if you go, say, 1 month you get up to like $80, and then you get into the next month? You don't get anything for that $80 month, or does it?
It taps on.
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out because I saw
on when you meet the threshold. When you meet the $100 threshold, no matter if it took you 5 months to get it.
Yeah. I know my wife wished I was more conscious about the money side of things, but I do this because it's I have a passion for it. And I don't know, maybe I just like to feel my brain turning and figuring out a mystery. And there's a whole lot of cool people in the YouTube community too. So I enjoy that.
I mean, it comes though, like people talk about making money aspect on YouTube. If you're making content and going live, then that's just, if you're making content and going live and you succeed at doing that, then you're going to succeed at doing that. You can't control whether you're going to make $27, $2, $1,000, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000. You can't dictate that because you got to actually do, you know what I mean? Keep putting content out and be consistent with putting content out and going live and doing different things.
And I imagine it's kind of like in most jobs, you know what you're going to get paid. You do the job, you get paid that amount. With this, it sure seems like, okay, let's check and see what it says I'm going to make. It's like a surprise. It's like, there's the advertising, there's the memberships there. Everything's fluctuating and changing.
Not only that, if somebody thinks that they're going to sit around and cover one case forever, that's not working. You better get that. You know what I mean? I covered a lot of Idaho 4 here, but I've also covered other things and grown in other things. Danilo Cavalcante, a few other different escapes. The other, what else? Lewiston mass shooter. Multiple different things. You got to be able to be ready to cover multiple different topics and not just stick to one, or you will be stuck, because this case does come to an end. You know what I mean?
Well, that K-bar knife, I got to admit, I've had it in a box. I've talked about doing a video with it for a long time. I just don't know exactly what to do. I know one thing, I don't want to show my face with it because I know how people are in the YouTube community. They got a picture of Jeff H with a K-bar knife holding it. I know a certain individual that would take that and run with it and make a video. And that's the last thing I want to do. But it was interesting. So what I'm trying to say is that I've never put the knife in the sheath and then snapped it until that moment, or really, well, just before I started pressing record. So I was kind of surprised at how tight that strap is to get around. It's like trying to get a belt around I got personal experience with this, trying to get a belt around a fat person, right? And make it snap. And it was a little difficult. And I thought, man, that with the difficulty of how to get this snap on there, I'd always heard it was a tight snap. I think it was Jennifer Koffendorfer said, with a K-bar knife, you do not want that snap popping off easy and your knife falls out and stabs you. So it makes total sense. I just never really thought about how tight it would be to bring it around and snap it. And just in that tightness, it seems like the potential to get your fingers up in there. And imagine if you have been practicing with the knife. Maybe you're sweaty. You've been like in front of a mirror. You're like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go left, stab, and I'm working out with it. Okay, I'm done. Let me start putting all my gear away to get ready to go do this crime. And you put the knife in there, you close that snap, and your sweat or whatever it is drips into that inside of that button snap. I don't know. That's my theory anyway. I wonder if that's what occurred. What do you think? What do you think about that, T?
Is
You crazy mother, Jeff.
The way that friggin' the way that it snapped, the way I don't know. After looking at the video of you snapping up the sheath, I could definitely see how skin cell could get up in there.
Well, like it could, sweat
You
could have
know?
dripped off your forehead, as you're looking down at it, snapping it, and didn't realize it dripped right down in there.
But also your skin is flaky. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Skin is flaky.
But I mean, it sure
And that's the
seems
bad
to
part.
me that your DNA shouldn't be anywhere. If you don't know these people, if you've never been over there, your DNA shouldn't be anywhere near there. And if by chance your DNA somehow ends up in a knife sheath next to a stab victim laying on the bed right next to them, I mean, what are the chances then also that your vehicle is in the area, your phone's turned off around the murder time, you show up about 5 hours later nearby, you're studied in all things DNA and crime scenes, and even your professor is an expert on serial killers and BTK. And if Catherine Ramsland ever mentioned to him, Brian, you ought to look into Ted Bundy. You look at him; he's an interesting serial killer right there. You know what? He went into that sorority and he knocked his victims out first with a piece of firewood before he ended their lives.
I've seen
if there was ever a conversation like that.
I've seen a lot of documentaries on Ted Bundy before this case even ever dropped.
Yeah, I think it was my friend Riddler who mentioned that he knocked him out with a piece of wood.
I see Riddler a lot. He's usually
Riddler's a good guy.
channels.
He's got some. But yeah, I looked it up and it's true. Yeah, it was a piece of firewood apparently that he would knock them out with. And I mean, there's two things that happen when you knock somebody out first, I guess, before you do that, is that it makes it a quiet crime, and it allows you, in this case, now Ted Bundy, it was a strangling, but in this case, I think a victim that's knocked out, it's a whole lot easier to control where their blood's going to go and whether it gets on you. You can choose to enter the knife into them in strategic places where there isn't going to be as much, but it's going to end things, But personally, in my theory, it's that I still hold to. I really believe he encountered each victim one at a time, never two at a time, never. And I believe in my theory, I believe all but one was actually just ambushed. Didn't expect it at all. I think Kaylee was the only one who came in, saw what was happening, and I'm sure tried to stop it. But I think all the others, I think he probably came up behind Xana while she was on TikTok. I think Ethan came out of the bathroom, saw Xana on the floor, wondered if she fell down either drunk from all the partying or just tripped. And he came into the room. He said, "It's okay, I'm going to help you," and didn't see the killer in the room, just off to the right into the corner. Boom, he's also ambushed. So that's the theory that I have. What is that? What is that thing behind you? Is a blanket?
Yeah, somebody, a subscriber sold this from hand while I was live on stream.
Wow,
multiple lives.
That is quite cool,
isn't it? That's pretty cool. Made while watching. So
that is nice.
She's like, I wanted you to know that I made this while watching several streams and that you've helped me tremendously a lot. It was just it was very awesome of Glitter to make that.
Very cool. Very cool.
Like,
I've been on here a long time. I don't want to take up all the time, but it's always a pleasure talking to you, and I appreciate you, letting me share and I love. Brings me back to old days when, like, I heard y'all talking about the button snap. I was like, I got the thing right here on my desk. I got my iPhone. Let me send you a movie. And earlier when you were talking about the tunnel, it's like I had sent that to another YouTuber that was live, and they were talking about the tunnel. I saw the pictures, and I thought you could line these pictures up and so that you can snap them on and off and see before and after. I was like, let me do that. So when you were talking about it, it's like, oh, that's still sitting in my email. I just forwarded it to you.
This, yeah, this little thing right here. I got the video back up. The tunnel video.
But that's what I've loved to do from the beginning. We're talking about it with words. We're talking about a visual thing with words in conversation. It's like, why not have a picture? I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, this is
But yeah, it sure looks to me like it's just a solid mound of dirt compacted up against that wall. Like if that was a door, you just open it and you just be looking at a mound of dirt. Didn't you have a caller though that said maybe there was used to be a chimney in that area though, and then they removed the chimney and is that what he was?
yeah. To be honest with you, I don't even know if that was a chimney or what.
Also, too, I've seen the pictures of what looks like a door latch, like in the room by the closet and the shelves and all. I mean, it's really hard to tell what that is. But it sure seems like there would be also hinges on the opposite side. And it's really hard to tell too. It's like, well, where do you put your finger? How do you actually open the door? To me, it almost looked like it's a piece of a railing, like that shelving unit that's in the center.
Right.
Like, is that a rail that you put the shelf in on the right side, line it up with the rail, and slide it to the left, and now it's mounted to the wall? Is that just the far end? Kind of like drawers in a kitchen. You got to line up those little metal rails. Part of me wonders if that's actually what we're looking at, that it was a metal rail for the center shelf to slide into position, and then they painted white over it when they painted the whole closet. If you would ask me, what's your final guess? What's your final answer, Jeff? That's what I think it might be.
What's going on, allegedly, LB? Yeah, I don't.
But I know that answer doesn't get clicks.
Man, this ain't like my.
But life is sometimes just boring and isn't click worthy. It's just Occam's razor, right? It's just simple, or much simpler and not interesting.
It's a simple answer, for sure. Well, I appreciate.
But regardless, though, in my drinkware, I'm up to 3 drinkware now. I got a JLR mug, Crime Circus mug, and I got a T-REV glass. So I'm starting to become a collector with my drinkware. I could get me one of those blankets like you got behind you. I might be set. Yeah,
man, that thing right, that's bad to the bone. I love that thing.
That's love and appreciation right there from your fans, and that's deserved.
Yeah, that's it. That this thing is definitely that people are talking about as a tunnel. That shit is definitely not a tunnel, man. That's my final answer. My final answer is that people have tinfoil hats on. They've never been outside. They never played. They just I don't know. That's
see how I lined it up, right?
I did my research on this tunnel, and there's no tunnel.
When you look at the picture, do you see how I lined it up? I used the fence. There's that fence where the 2 pieces of fence come together and one's angled, and then I also used the tree branches that are curved to make sure that the 2 images were exactly lined up.
There's your tunnels right here. I'm looking at a map. There's your storm sewer.
I thought I read too somewhere that the bigger tunnels had a dual purpose, and that there was heat in those tunnels, so they put them under the big wide sidewalks on campus to melt the snow, so students didn't have to walk on ice. So I don't see a need for a tunnel like that in this area where it's all hilly and it's not a big sidewalk. That little house has been there for a long time, right? So apparently the president of the university, I think, lived in that house but has no memory of living in that house because he was that young. So I think it's an old house and has been there. I don't know. Somebody ought to be able to find out. I know I've seen pictures where they had the garage that used to be in front of it off to the left, but that's about the only old picture I've seen of that house.
Yeah, man. I haven't seen an old picture. Maybe once, and I just don't remember it. Maybe
Yeah, because they used to have the 112 number was on the edge of the garage off to the left, and then I guess they got rid of the garage. They put the number across the front of the house. That number though makes me think of too. I don't think that the DoorDash driver ever drove back to be seen by the Linda Lane camera, because I think that number on the front of the house, there's no need to drive past it. I would, and I used to deliver Instacart, right? And at night, I always had a flashlight so that I could see the addresses on the house. All that DoorDash driver would have had to do was pull up. I mean, I think you can kind of see it from the lighting in the area, but if you couldn't see it, just a little quick flash of a flashlight, and you're like, oh, here it is, and I got this great big parking lot to pull in and turn around. There's no reason for that DoorDash driver to go back as far as the Linda Lane camera. That's just my opinion. Allegedly.
Yeah, but couldn't they go around and circle around that building complex to get out of there?
No. I think he came up, he pulled into right in front of the 1122 house, and then backed out and left. But actually, for clarification, if anybody's unclear, I mean, you come in on King Road, you make a left onto Queen Road. Now you're coming up, and now the murder house is off to your right, and you keep going straight, and you go down the full length of that long Queen Road building on the right, and then you can turn and you can go around the second Queen Road building. You go around it, and now you're heading back towards the 1122, the house where all this happened. And it's just basically a big circle. But Linda Lane does not connect or allow you to get into that circle. Linda Lane dead ends right by that white arrow that says cam, right by the car in the kind of the center of the screen. That's a dead end. You can see that on the 12:27 a.m. with those 4 people that get out of that car they got to ride in. You see that vehicle has to do a U-turn. If it could have, ideally, wouldn't it? If it could have gone onto Queen Road, it would have. But it would have had to jump a big wall. I mean, there's plenty of videos to see that. JLR has walked out there, Gray has walked out there, walked that path, driven that. You got video. I think you've seen you show videos of, how you drive. There's just a wall there. Right. So I didn't realize that in the beginning, but that kind of makes the difference for what vehicle, passage. But all right, I've run my mouth so much, my wife is probably going to be like, "Will you shut up?"
It's all good, man. I appreciate you calling in, Jeff. Man, lock your doors, and I'll holler.
What do you say? Double Glock?
What is it? Double locks, double Glocks. Yes, double locks, double Glocks.
And I'm okay with my K.
Well, no doubt. I appreciate you calling in, Jeff. There's people in here enjoying the theories, the talk, including myself, man. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate you. God bless. Lock your doors. Stay safe and stay away from the stalkers, man. Thank you, bro.
Awesome, man.
Bye-bye. Shout out to Jeff, man. I appreciate him, man. Shut up to him. Got to stay away from him. Stay away from the stalkers. All right. Hold up. One second. I gotta holler. I'm gonna holler at you guys. I'm about to hop off here. I appreciate everybody that came by this live yesterday. I appreciate everybody who came by. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm gonna holler at you. Don't forget we got the Faro video that's about to drop.
I count my blessings for the days when I was down and losing faith. They made me patient. All I can say is thank you. I really wouldn't be the same if I ain't gone through all the pain. Look what it made me. All I can say is thank you.
It wouldn't be the same with none of y'all by my side. You hold me down every day and it makes me strive. I wake up and look forward to doing these lives. A lot of y'all really came and opened up my eyes, and I hope I gave it together even though shit was rough. They tried to shut us down, but we really shut them up. No matter what, we stand together when shit gets tough. I wanna thank everyone for showing me love. The Rev Gang family is something I cherish and love, and I'll smack anyone for fucking with us.
Blessings for the days when I was down and losing faith. They made me patient. All I can say is thank you. I really wouldn't be the same if I ain't gone through all the pain. Look what it made me. All I can say is thank you.
No one give a voice to the voiceless. People get killed for other stupid choices. Standing up for the families that took a loss is something that we find important. Rap gang strong, chest up. Little homie, keep your head up. You can be whatever you want. Get rid of the fake and it will lead up. All my life I strive for greatness. I manifested my time with patience. People try to copy us, but respect is earned. It's not an obligation. I love the fam and they love me back, and that's why I always have it back. So I give a voice to those people who were never given a chance for them slimy cats. When you come here, you ain't a number to me. I really take time to read what I see. Don't forget to lock your doors, cause there's danger all up in these streets. Y'all really put life into the air that I breathe. I really am thankful for all of my peeps. Your loyalty means a lot to me, so this is a special thank you from me.
Blessings for